know what?
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to start this from, but I'm Connor, and welcome to another edition of the After Dark podcast for Phantom Zone. And Eric is here, and Arlen is here, and Eric is here. Everyone say hello.
Wait, hold on.
You
Excuse
said
me?
me twice. Yes,
I
I'm
just
sure your
said-
name is Eric now.
Eric is here, Eric is here, Eric is here, and Eric is here.
Yes, and I'm.
We are all
if,
Eric.
If Angelo
Right.
still listens to the show, he'd be very lost.
I am
I don't
Lou
think he
Gonzalez.
I am Alan Muir. We are all feeling,
You're funny.
No,
very,
that's
very
why
bad.
I'm still on the show. I'm the talisman against his return.
Oh God.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
So I was saying before we started recording that I was watching a vicious throttling of the Flash, and he got into some interesting points about the CW, and I didn't want to waste that banter. But basically, he said it's a network that has refused to evolve since 2003.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like, I never thought about that because like they said that, and Arlen, I'm surprised you didn't come barreling through my fucking wall when they mentioned Teen Wolf. They threw Teen Wolf a bone. They said Teen Wolf got a 24 to 27 episodes season, and they
Twice.
chopped it in half and called it season 3A and season 3B, and they are their own stories and own sections of a season, but they don't operate as one long story, basically.
Oh,
no,
wow,
yeah. There's a theme. There's a thematic like tie
What?
between the two. But no, they did a longer season and they cut it in half. They were responsible with the fact that they had more episodes and they did two stories.
Yeah,
instead of
and
one.
he threw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a bone. And I think the one season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we watched as a show was the one where it had three distinct arcs. It had Ghost Rider, it had,
Right.
what the fuck was it, Eva?
Yeah, and that's a credit that I will give them, as much as I have said very terrible things about that show in the past. From what I could tell, they did individual arcs, and they didn't try to squeeze like one story or spread it out further, I guess would be a more appropriate way
And
of describing it.
the Ghost Rider stuff I watched, which was like the only thing I really cared about, because once they departed from that, I was like, you have totally lost me, because now this is back to being like, but I love Coulson, but like I don't give a shit about Quake and the rest of them. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, because Ghost Rider is the most interesting thing to happen to that show, and Luna, is it Gabriel or
I think it's Gabriel, yeah.
Gabriel Luna is fantastic. And then he mentioned that like the CW shows in Flash specifically was trying to do that, and like they can't help but do filler. They can't fucking help themselves. But he also brought up this concept he has. I think it's the YouTube channel is called Friendly Space Ninja, and it's pretty good. Something he says, this show is now something I call SFM, or it's like series finale media, where I'm gonna tune in to watch the final episode of the final season just to see how it all wraps up. I'm like, that's a really fun way to approach shows you just have disdain for now. And he mentioned Walking Dead. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to I think there is a show that I had like that. When I thought Supernatural was going to end, I
10
did
seasons
that.
ago.
And then they kept on going for.
And it's funny because he kept saying things I've heard you say about those shows, like Teen Wolf and Supernatural. He said Supernatural, the first 5 seasons are some of the best seasons on TV at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The last great 22 episode television, as far as I'm concerned.
But he mentioned Teen Wolf. I think I did that with Dexter, and I think that was a mistake.
Should do it
because no, I disagree. that fucking finale hurt my fucking feelings.
I'm speculating, and it's funny that you did the opposite for Scott Buck's next show, where you didn't watch the finale at all, but you thought you had.
Iron Fist. I was like, yeah, this show's done. I just quit.
And you didn't miss anything, actually.
No,
that was the funniest part.
No, I didn't at all. I didn't feel. And the funny thing is, I didn't feel like I missed anything either.
Nope.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was chatting with a Movie Dumpster fan today, and he was listening to the Suckling episode, and he just out of nowhere goes, "Connor, you didn't watch the credits again?" Like, I was like, dude, at this point, like, if I start watching them, it ruins the gag, so I'm not going to start.
The Suckling.
Yeah, this. Oh God.
I can't believe that is the name of a movie. The Suckling.
We
I
just
can.
watched Sorority Girls and a slime ball bolorama. Like it gets worse.
Oh yeah, that
It
was like a
does.
USA Up All Night like standby. Like that
Well-
was the movie. They're just like, yeah, let's just show this again.
I didn't enjoy that one,
explains a lot.
but there was something in it that I like. Usually when I watch these, there's something I find that I'm like, oh, okay, and it's memorable. That is the movie where the outro of Static X's "I'm with Stupid" comes from. She goes, "Yeah, very stupid." It's Linnea Quigley. I didn't know that. It's from that movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie since I was probably like 10 or 11, so I can't.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. So when I heard that line, because I was Static X, I was like, "Oh fuck, wow, that's a 30-year mystery finally solved for me."
Well, it's like that movie and Hell Comes to Frogtown. The fuck, what's his face? Yeah, Roddy Piper movie. Yeah, those were like the two that I remember seeing multiple times on USA Up All Night, and then various Porky's movies that were edited.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's way before any of your times. Maybe
Yeah,
you would have
yeah.
caught the tail
Well,
end of it, Connor, but yeah.
I remember seeing Joe Bob Briggs on I can't wait that aired, but that's
No, that
my
was
first exposure to like that kind of thing.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I watched Barbarian, and it was just fun watching him talk about the Barbarian like every time there's a commercial break.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like Up All Night was first it was hosted by Gilbert Godfrey before he got really big.
What?
And then there was I forget what her name was. It was Rhonda something, but like they would have little bits like of their comedic performances, whatever, where they're trying to do their bits, and then they'd show the movie, and then they'd come in every once in a while after a commercial break and comment about the movie, and then we'd go back to it. And yeah, that's mostly what I remember is bad movies. I'm sure there's more to the show, kind of like Night Flight, which is way beyond any of your times. But yeah, it was a place to see stuff that when you're like 9 or 10, you're like, maybe I'll see a boob by accident on USA, and nope, never happened.
That was
Never
where I
happened.
saw I saw Conan uncensored for the first time. Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
I saw Conan uncensored was
Tasty.
on that. Yeah,
Right.
was on that.
You saw the witch sex scene where he
but he also
that scene is weird.
in that video he also talked about Superman and Lois, and it was something that I didn't even know about that show. Was that show was I thought it was co-produced by HBO Max. It was not. It was completely financed by HBO Max, and it aired on
Oh.
show, and that is it. Like that is an HBO Max production through and through.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that lady we were talking about. What was it? Almost 3 months ago. It sounds like she was serious then about really putting money into the multiverse and all that shit.
Well, there's a whole other pocket of shows that need to that either need to be taken out back and shot in the
No.
head, or need to be rebooted.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, they need to just end them. Just end them and don't reboot them for a while because it'll just be the same thing. It's a bad idea and just end them.
I'm of the same opinion that if you reboot them, you should not do it right away. Like there should be an extended time away because even Superman and Lois took a while to come out. Like Superman's last appearance was a crisis, and that
Or
was
even
a few years ago.
How about this? You have access to every single one of your characters. Pick anything else. It doesn't matter. Just try anything else.
I totally agree.
I mean, look at what DC characters are currently enjoying the most prominence they have ever enjoyed in their existence.
Yeah.
Bloodsport, Ratcatcher, and King Shark.
I mean, on that note, it looks like a Blue Beetle thing is actually going to happen after years of rumors and almost happening.
I think it's so weird that Warner Brothers and DC sabotage their own Justice League movie and yet keep stumbling into successes with like weird shit like the Suicide Squad. Like their fucking D-list characters are the one that everyone's embracing because everyone's like, no, we're fucking sick of Batman. You keep fucking it up.
Well, that's maybe because they got somebody who was a well-respected and talented director who also wrote it, and maybe let him do his own thing and not have to be tied down by this imposed universe they were trying to make.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Well, yeah. Also,
it does make good movies.
Right.
Oh well, that's too Hunter. You're asking too much.
Yeah.
I mean, look how
I
long
am
it took to
Archive.
look how long it took to get fucking Logan, like that kind of movie out of fucking Fox. You had to wrench that movie out
Well,
of those fucking people.
that's not completely fair because like X-Men 2 wasn't half bad. Like
I
it's
like the first
not
two
the
X-Men
best.
movies.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Mhm.
Like I'm not going to say like they're amazing at this point, but at the time they
No.
were quite good. But
Yeah.
and I mean I'm even trying to divorce the man and his boy thralls from that movie or those movies. Like
Right.
they're decent X-Men movies on their own and even
I
First
mean, I
Class.
forgot until you just brought it up. I was like pretending that it didn't exist until
Yeah.
just now. Yeah, I get what you mean, and I think a lot of those early 2000s superhero movies, there's a little bit of rose tinted glasses, but to some extent, they are good for their time.
Mhm.
Well, and that was what I brought up when talking about that Justice League of America pilot that I watched for Movie Dumpster.
Mm,
That movie came out the movie, whatever. It isn't it's a
Uh,
movie. It's 80 minutes. It came out in
mhm.
97. What came out
Yeah.
2 to 3 years later? X-Men, Blade. Like movies
Blade
that
is
took
the next year,
Blade
Connor.
is the next year.
Blade is
Spider-Man. Like and I
yeah.
mentioned on the show that like it's funny to me that Marvel has in one way always been evolving faster and taking this stuff more seriously and getting it better than Warner Bros. And DC ever fucking have. Because
Mhm.
I'm
well,
telling you, this pilot should be shot into fucking space. Every copy
Right.
of it should be destroyed. It is
Well,
abominable.
oh, it's like a
yeah.
or not Crystal Dynamics. What's their
I
fucking
mean,
face? Hunter, the guys who made that X-Men game that's terrible,
Oh,
and they
Silicon
made
Knights.
that's
Oh
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Silicon Knights. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Treat them like Silicon Nuts.
I mean,
Well, go ahead, Arlen.
oh, I was gonna say I don't want to devil's advocate too hard here, but there's a certain mobility. I don't even know if that's the correct word to use, but I'll just go with it. There's a mobility that
not.
Marvel had that DC has never had. Not since they bought DC in like the 70s, I want to say, around when they did Superman. Because they didn't
Superman's
own
that
it
long ago.
during because they didn't own it during Batman, I don't think, or they didn't care. But it feels right.
Oh, you
Whereas
mean
Marvel
the
was
Batman TV
always
show?
Marvel, right? Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But Marvel has always been Marvel. And I don't want to give too much credit to old Stan, but he was a big part of making sure that there was always something happening. There was always a show or a cartoon that kept those characters in the minds of people. And I think that mobility allowed them to, when they did get to movies, to get them out very quickly and to get them out in a very short amount of time for a lot of people to see. Whereas you have a giant company like Warner Brothers, which has always been one of the giants of filmmaking, only able to get a movie out every 10 years for a while there. Even if you're including all the Supermans that they did, those movies only happened because of other producers coming in, because of other people who felt a pressure to make those movies. And the studio system was just different at the time. There was money to be made from producing 5 Superman movies or 4 Superman movies and Supergirl, our favorite film of all time.
I can't fuck. I rail on this Justice League thing for being 80 minutes. That movie has no business in any universe being, what was it, 2 hours and 20 minutes long?
That movie was fucking long.
Something
It's
like
long
that. It was
and brutal. Like
it's so long, and like the only good parts are fleeting and few in between. But anyway, I don't want to get too lost down the rabbit hole. Anyways, when you can only make a movie seemingly every 10 years and the quality of your movies is diminishing at best, you have to assume that it's not DC's fault. It's not the property's fault. It's just the size of this giant corporation, which has a history of falling over itself and making some bad decisions. And it's almost like it was inevitable. Marvel has but whereas Marvel, again, they've always had that mobility and that ability to just move around the problem. When Marvel came to the conclusion that Fox and Sony weren't going to be good partners anymore, they did it themselves. They just started doing it on their own.
Also Marvel has better foresight than Warner Bros. And DC ever have.
Mhm.
DC to a lesser extent because, like you said, DC's a broom closet.
Yeah.
But since Warner Bros. Has been controlling like the movie side of that company for so long, and yet they make the same mistakes.
Well, the funny thing is they make the same successes over again too. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, Superman is kind of all over the place. I think Man of Steel was fine. I think it was a financial success. I don't remember Superman Returns, even if you threaten my life. I can't I can't recall a fucking moment from that movie.
Well, I
I-
think
except maybe Kevin Spacey chewing scenery, but that's about it.
I
I remember
think
the dogs.
the
Oh,
dogs.
wait.
God, I don't even remember
Dogs.
that.
What the fuck are you talking
There's
about?
there's okay, all right, hold on. Before we get too far in the weeds, I have to talk about this because it's haunted me ever since I've seen this movie. There's a scene in which it is revealed one of Lex Luthor's dogs or someone's dogs ate the other dog for some reason. It's fucking
That
weird.
sounds
And
vaguely familiar.
it's fucking weird, and I think about it a lot, and I don't know why I had to see that as a child. Why is that in the movie?
That movie is
Well,
a fever dream when I
Bryan
try to
Singer made it.
remember it.
Um,
Yeah.
to get back to the earlier points about Marvel and DC, I think something I don't know if you're forgetting or you're just choosing to omit it, but with Marvel back in that time period, like all the movies that came out, they had nothing to do with Marvel themselves.
No, I think
The
just
properties. Well, I
yeah.
have a point I was getting to. Like DC, whenever they were acquired by Warner Brothers, like we've said, they were a broom closet. So Warner Brothers just like, let's put this out for the kids. But like the companies that had Marvel properties, they had very specific areas of Marvel. So they had to work well with what they had because they didn't have the option to fall back on. Let's throw Fire and Ice in here. Let's throw 2 Green Lanterns. Let's throw the Atom in. They're just like, all right, we only have these characters that are from this part of this deal that we made to work with. So let's do it. Like Blade, I thought was the first one that was actually a Marvel production, or at least they were more heavily involved with it than they were with anything else.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
if I'm going to nuance what I said, like the brand itself, whether it be of their own control or other people's controls, has always found a way to be ahead of their main competitor, whether it's through their own machinations or, like you said, being with Sony or Fox, who are like, hey, this is, we can do stuff with this. Let's do something with it. Whereas like DC always looks at that with like DC looks at this Warner Bros. I'm sorry, look at this panther fucking characters they have and go, Superman and Batman, that's fucking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I mean, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's their fault.
Yeah.
And like I was saying with Stan, constantly making sure that even lesser known characters are at least visually recognizable. Whereas visually recognizable is maybe the best thing you can say about certain DC characters. You see Green Lantern and you know what that is, but how much knowledge you have of the character functionally is nothing if you're not one of us.
I'm glad you brought that up, because this Justice League of America thing had a glaring issue where, like, I'm looking at these characters. The cast is Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Barry Allen, Ray Palmer, Martian Manhunter, who appears for maybe 7 minutes. And he's a short, portly man who essentially is just Zordon. He doesn't leave the Justice League cave or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, well, his costume was too expensive to have on.
It probably was.
Yeah.
And then it's Fire and Ice, who I don't fucking know. I don't even know.
80s.
Okay.
80s characters.
All right, cool. But
maybe early 90s.
Yeah, I barely know them. But Barry Allen is 1, not a forensic scientist. 2, not blonde. 3 is a dumb, directionless, lazy East Coaster who's like, I don't even know if I want a job or something. I just like bowling. Like that.
What?
What?
That's not a thing. You made that up.
I'm not making it up. And there's an arc in this fucking movie where he moves into Guy Gardner's apartment, and Guy Gardner's fucking furious because he's like, Barry's a fucking loser. And Ray Palmer lives there. Ray Palmer does 2 things with his shrinking ability. 1, he saves a cat, and 2, he fixes a TV, and that is it. And he is characterized physically.
Wait, he can do more?
Isn't that his?
He can embiggen. So he's characterized physically by being what you think someone would come up with as a sciencey nerd guy in the 90s. A sweater
Bleh.
vest, a receding hairline, glasses, and a moderate gut. And Barry is
Yikes.
this like he looks like Jason from the Power Rangers, and like I said, he talks like this, and he doesn't really know what he wants in life and stuff like that. Guy Gardner looks like Discount what's his face from Dharma and Greg and Criminal Minds, and his arc is that he sucks with women, and every time he's out with his girlfriend, she's like, "You're the worst." Ice's thing was that she's this like she sounds like Lucy from Twin Peaks, and she's super unconfident in everything she does. And the other thing is that I don't know if Lou ever went over this in detail, but like the camera cuts to them being interviewed by an unknown source, like it's The Office, happens way too many times. And
Yeah,
they never
Advent of
tell
the real
you
world.
they never tell you who is interviewing them, but they're giving away their secret identities the entire time because they're not in costume; they're just in regular civvy clothes.
That's
And
hilarious.
They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a superhero." Blah 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 blah. This is what it's like to be the Flash. I'm like, who are you telling this to, and how does this function the show? And it just pops up every like 5 to 10 minutes. And
that was the influence of the show The Real World at that point, because it was
Yes.
big right around then.
Yes. And so it functions more like Friends and like you said, The Real World. But you look at these characters, and back to what Arlen was saying, you can't tell they are who they're supposed to be at all.
No, I've seen
Period.
what the costumes look like. They're garbage.
They're trash. Barry's got
Yeah.
goggles, I think. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Martian, I'm looking at pictures of this pilot right now, and Martian Manhunter looks like the Mask. Kind of fucked.
they also just forget the fact that he can shapeshift. And he's like, I can't in the cave because I'm a big green Martian. I'm like,
What?
so you're a fucking Nosferatu? Like, what the fuck?
So the writers, or one of the writers of this, has a strange career.
Oh god. I want to know because I didn't look into it too far.
David Hoselton.
That's a fake name.
What? Oh no.
It sounds like a fake name. Best known for his work on television, on the television series House, Sharp,
Oh.
and the animated films Over the Hedge and Brother Bear.
Wait. Okay. What?
This is what?
I just real quick. I'm looking at this pictures of the Justice League pilot. Why is it there's only one photo that Green Lantern's outfit actually looks green?
Oh, it's not green.
All the
It's
other
like-
ones, it looks
it's
teal.
teal. Also, here's
Yes.
what Green Lantern does with his powers. I don't recall a single instance where he's doing any superheroics. What he does with it is tap a man in the shoulder with an invisible, with like a construct finger to make him look the other way, so he can steal his invitation to a party, and he makes an umbrella to shield someone from the rain. That is fucking it.
Cool.
You know, like heroes do.
And Barry demonstrates his powers by speed cleaning, speed eating, complete with sound effects that actually made me gag.
Early ASMR.
Yeah. Oh god, it's the worst. And in the same party, tricking a bouncer into looking the other direction and running past him at super speed. That is it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What a great show.
And
I'm sad this didn't get made.
so the villain Weather Wizard is, like I said, it's Miguel Ferrer, but like his initial appearance is on a big TV that's just in this city, which is called like, oh, what the fuck? It's like it's New Metro is what it's called. Not Metropolis, not Central City, not Keystone. What the fuck? Not the beer. What the fuck is Green Lantern City?
Coast City.
Coast City.
Coast City.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, was his city.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my. Maybe New Metro is Coast City because things occurred.
Say what you want about him. He's thorough.
Very. So he shows up with this big TV and he's like, hello, and his voice is modulated, and he's like, hello, and he makes bad weather puns, including one saying like he's gonna drop hail, like a big hailstorm, and he says, "Get ready for your first halo."
What's
I
what?
hate it. I hate this show.
What's the
I haven't even
point of
watched
him
it. I fucking
having?
hate this.
I'm stuck on the voice modulator. Why does he need a voice modulator?
I don't know,
See,
He's
because
a
it'd be
supervillain.
There's a million different things he could say, like "You're all going to hail," and then he brings down a hailstorm,
yeah,
or
no, halo,
anything.
halo.
Right, and and again, why does he need to be weather wizard? Why can't you just make him a different villain?
Well, and then
A
like
villain
it's just
who doesn't
revealed that
like to show his face.
he's the weather wizard by just basically they just showed Miguel Ferrer at the bottom of some fucking like tower, and he's just slamming keys on a keyboard. He's like, I'm controlling the weather. But his vignettes that show on the screen, I swear to God, they look like some shit where Kane from the Brotherhood of Nod would walk out and start monologuing. They look like bad Command and Conquer cutscenes in this already bad looking TV show.
Hearing all this makes me just want to go eat a whole bottle of ivermectin.
It'll cure your COVID.
It kind of
Right.
like I know what like we have disdain for the CW for good reasons, but watching the like almost the whole thing, I was like, man, some of the shit that we have said about the CW, like me personally, I could almost forgive seeing this with the DC branding on it. I'm like, this is
Sure.
it's easily the worst superhero thing I've ever fucking seen.
Here's what I'll give them credit for. They saw this and they were like, "This needs to end."
That's my thing. Like, someone looked at it and said, "Abso-fucking-lutely not." However, I think they should have done one step further and just like destroyed it immediately. Because like, isn't there more footage of that? What the fuck? That Wonder Woman show with Adrian.
I
Kawasaki?
think there's the entire pilot is out there, if not a couple.
Yeah,
you
and,
can
like,
watch the entire
the
pilot,
visual
and you can
effects-
use
The visual effects aren't
Yeah.
quite done, but like the stunt work is there, and like you can like it's mostly whole.
Mhm.
However,
Yeah,
I've seen
the-
some clips
yeah.
of that, and I'm like, ooh, that's raw.
I really only know what Lou has told me and what I heard about on that podcast to talk about a lot about movies that were never made.
Yeah,
Because it's this gap in between a lot of Wonder Woman projects that almost happened. One including Sandra Bullock as
whoa,
as Dinah, or not Dinah.
Diana.
No, the Wonder Girl. I can never remember her name.
oh,
Donna.
fuck.
Donna.
Donna, yeah.
Yeah.
Donna Troy.
Yes. Or some
Sandra
version.
I mean, like 90s Sandra Bullock, like I would buy her as Wonder Woman, or a
this
Wonder character.
This is like miscongeniality. This is like 2000s. Like
She would be entirely too old for that character at that point.
yes, this is it's like the lake house, but the idea is that they would have like a
Wow, I'm sorry. I thought I was the only person in this group that has seen that movie.
Oh no, I've got to put this letter in the mailbox.
I watched it with the ex-girlfriend who made me watch The Notebook at least a dozen times and fell asleep during Ghostbusters and Enter the Dragon.
all of this checks out. This all adds up 100%. No doubt button is needed on my.
How do you fall asleep Enter the Dragon but not during the lake house?
Here's the thing,
lake
and
house
like
at least has a time
that's
travel
prime
aspect.
sleepy
So
time.
she'll never listen to
material.
this, so I can, and I'm not gonna name her, so it doesn't matter. So I can roll a bus over her in this specific part of our former relationship. She
Name
claimed
retard.
that she claimed that I, or at least like the movie itself, we went and saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginnings in theaters. Her reasoning for never wanting to watch a horror movie or any movie with any kind of violence or like bodily harm was because this movie allegedly traumatized her.
Alright.
That movie. Above all movies I could have shown her, it was that movie. So from that point forward, getting her to watch anything that had anything to do with violence, suspense, horror, anything, it was like pulling fucking teeth. But the problem
name
was,
of the
like,
movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
right.
well, before
There's
that,
a
she was a big
yeah.
horror fan. Like she loved Jason Voorhees and shit. But something happened
Huh.
on the way home from seeing Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginnings, where she was like, "No more." And then, but like, the problem that I had was the trade-off was I had to watch Days of Our Lives. I had to watch soap operas. I had to watch 27 Dresses. I had to watch The Bridesmaid. I had to watch all these fucking disposable, like, I don't want to use this term, but like it's what they're chick flicks, like bad romantic comedies. I'm like, if we're gonna do this, can we watch My Best Friend's Wedding or something that's actually like somewhat entertaining or engaging that I can get something out of? But like, and I do like The Notebook. I think The Notebook is actually the only Nicholas Sparks movie ever made that's pretty good.
Right. I mean, this is a bad era for that type of stuff, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She was consuming fucking all of it.
Well, I'd like to examine two things here. One, real quick. No, you didn't have to watch the stuff. You were humoring her.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was.
Two, if she's a fan of horror movies like Friday the 13th and whatnot, was Texas Chainsaw Beginnings, was that the one with Jessica Biel in it?
No, that's the first one. The second one was with Jordana Brewster and a bunch of people I don't know.
Yeah, like, I don't remember that movie being anything worse than what I'd seen in horror movies of the ilk of Friday the 13th.
I think she was really put off by the whole murdering the boyfriend and cutting off his face and then wearing it in front of the girlfriend. I think that fucked her up. But like, still, I'm like, hold on. Jason in Freddy vs. Jason walks up to the first person he sees, stabs him 18 times, and then breaks him in half. Like,
it just, I don't know. That strikes me as real odd.
It was odd, and I've always found it to be odd because, like, I never got a thorough, like, what about it made you so, like, what about it made you this way? And I never got a good reason for it. It really, but there was also like a key change in her personality. I experienced. Granted, like, I will fully take my responsibility in being very not grown and not developed by the end of that relationship. I was stuck, and I see every reason in the world why she broke up with me. It's fine. I get it. I lost that battle. However, like, when it came to just spending time with her, and that was how, like, she engaged in that particular struggle, I never understood it because I was like, I'm like, it's not just horror movies. You won't watch anything else at this point. And this is not like we're not trading. You're just dominating this part of the relationship.
Right.
And like, it never made sense to me. And like, I tried Enter the Dragon because I'm like, it's sanitized as far as violence goes. Like, a lot of the violence is like the graphicness is not present. The deaths are off screen. Like, he kills not Bolo. The dude who killed his O'Hara. He kills O'Hara off screen entirely. He jumps in the air and goes and then makes a really morose face, and that's it. You never see O'Hara's ribcage get shattered.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, that's and she passed out, and then passed out during Ghostbusters. I'm like, this is a fight that I cannot win. So I think I just also at the time, like, I was fat Connor during that period. I was 240 pounds. I had fucking quit. Like, I had punched the fuck out.
That's me now.
Yeah. Well, you're a foot and a half taller than me, Hunter.
True. That's true.
That and COVID has fucked with a lot of people with it.
It certainly hasn't helped.
Holy shit, it has.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. But like, she did love The Crow because she thought the story in that was just perfect. She liked 300. And she liked.
What a surprise! She liked 300.
Well, 300 was the reason why she wanted to go see what the fuck was that movie with him and Katherine Heigl.
The one where he's actually dead.
No, that's with him and Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Is it Ghost of Girlfriend's Past or something?
No, that's Matthew McConaughey.
Okay,
I knew that because I played my fucking movie theater and had to go clean during the credits, and it had a song called "Ghost of Girlfriend's Past" that sounded like exactly what you imagine it would sound like.
Right? Yeah.
There was one where it was like he's a shock rock radio DJ who's like, women are crazy.
It's the the ugly truth.
Yeah. And she's like, she's typical Katherine Heigl, who's like, yeah, so I think that was why she wanted to see that, because Gerard Butler. But then, like, I think she quickly realized that he's not really.
He's just a bartender who's gotten a lot of movies. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
He's just that guy.
I mean, yeah, he was in just a bunch of mediocre movies until he got into the film of his career, which I'm somehow blanking on the fucking name of. God damn it. Den of Thieves, his magnum opus.
Is that good? I've heard it's great.
Den of Thieves it's a good movie, but
That was Colin
Gerard
Farrell.
Butler
Thank
is the
you.
reason.
They're
Gerard
both
Butler is the
Irish.
reason to watch the movie.
Gerard Scottish.
I know.
So there's a moment. There's a moment in Den of Thieves I think I brought up before, and it's the moment where I was like, "Oh, this is the best movie ever." He walks up to, or he walks into his ex-wife's house, and she's having like a big old dinner party, with her new boyfriend, and he picks up her new boyfriend's wine that he's drinking, and he chugs it all in front of him.
I do like that flex. That's really funny.
And he has this note of like, "What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna punch me?" And this is big, hefty Gerard Butler who looks like he could get run over by a car and stand right back up.
Oh, he's what's his nuts from Daywatch? Zabula.
Exactly.
Just eats a bus in the face.
He's just an insane person in that movie. He eats donuts that a man who was shot was holding while he was being shot.
Well, I mean, don't waste the donuts.
Well, they were sitting there for like hours.
That's still a donut.
I mean, I don't disagree, but he just he eats them right after telling like this other cop that he's a pussy for being a vegan. It's the best movie ever made.
I have to check this out now.
It's Gerard Butler doing his best Al Pacino and Heat impression, and it's magical. He's the reason to watch it.
With that thick, unbreakable Scottish brogue he has that he can't hide if he tried.
Well, yeah, it's his fake American accent over that, and it's just
who's worse, his or Sam Worthington?
I think his is worse.
I think it is. Worthington will disappear into his thing, and then like he'll say a word, you're like, up, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I need to find the actor's. I need to find the actor's name.
Like Wink.
Mm.
Was that Eric?
No, I need to find. I need to find the actor's name, but he was in Doomsday. The what's his name?
He's in a lot of Neil Marshall stuff.
I don't think he's in a lot of Neil Marshall stuff, but he's that guy when you see him. Like, I'll have his name in a second.
Is it Kevin McKidd?
I think that might be it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's in a lot of Neil Marshall stuff.
He's in Bunraku. He's in Dog Soldiers. He's in fuck, what else is he in? He's Scottish as fuck too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no,
blonde dude.
It's not. No, it's not Kevin McKidd. Keep going.
No.
Keep talking about whatever. I'll find him then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to talk about how awesome Kevin McKidd is because he's the best part of Bunraku, which is a very strange movie.
I mean, he's always good in everything he shows up in. What movie was I watching?
Well,
where
he
he's
was
like
the lead in Rome too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's in like 5 minutes of Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, he is.
Fuck, is he?
He's in the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets. I mean, spoilers for Kingdom of Heaven. He gets like murdered immediately.
Well, he lasts for a little bit in the fight, but yeah, it's the point when Liam Neeson's character is being challenged by his nephew.
Son.
Yeah. They come to
who
collect.
Who is Nikolai Coster-Waldau, by the way?
Holy shit! What?
Yes, he's in that movie,
dude. I saw him. So I saw him in some movie that I think is a Swedish movie, and it's about two rival hitmen. And he's one of them, and like it's a weird thriller, and like it's fuck. I remember liking it, but also I can't remember anything about it. Oh, what the fuck is it called? I saw it the same day I saw The Kill List.
I feel like he's in a lot of those. The Kill List is a fucking movie. That's a fucking movie. But yeah, like Kevin McKidd, like it's a weird like psycho fake out where you're like, oh, Kevin McKidd's gonna be in this movie, and nope, he's out. Like they set up this whole crew where you're like, oh, this is gonna be the supporting characters. This is like the Band of Brothers crew for this movie, and nope, they're gone very, very quickly. Kingdom of Heaven director's cut, by the way, worth watching if you haven't seen it.
Holy shit! Coster-Waldau is in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
He's been in a lot of stuff though, as like minor roles. Well, Eric, yeah.
The actor that I was trying to think of earlier, I can't find his name, but you guys have seen the seventh Harry Potter movie, the first part.
Oh, Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nah, Harry Potter for nerds.
For nerds. Cool.
For
Well, that-
Harry Potter for nerds.
I don't know what happened there. I just legitimately had a. I think I had a seizure.
Pull that mountain
Right.
snow over you like a blanket.
He also Hunter also grew another foot just randomly, and
Yeah.
that threw things off.
the point where Harry and Hermione and Ron drink the polyjuice potion to get into the Ministry of Magic. It's the guy
Oh, I
that
know who
Harry
you're
turns
fucking talking
into.
about.
Oh,
I
fuck.
can't
I
remember
know
that
who you're
actor's
fucking
name,
talking about.
but he's
Mad Eye
on s-
Moody.
Yep.
No.
that's
No,
it. Yep,
when
you
they're
got it.
trying to sneak in, is
He's-
it the one
he's
that
just
Harry
being
turns
goofy.
into?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is painfully Scottish, and I've never seen him in a role where they've ever tried to even have him have an American accent because it's not going to work. It's just
No.
it's not going to work.
It's because they know.
Well,
Yeah.
I've seen him in other stuff where he does fine with an American accent, but it has to be like hyper specific. It has to be like Boston. Like I think
Southern.
he's in The
Has-
Departed.
has-
No, I don't think he is.
Is he not one of Nicholson's boys?
No, because he's big enough that he would have a bigger role than just being a thug in The Departed. At least
I thought he was one of like he's like one of his generals. I thought I might be.
I
mixing
haven't
him
seen
up.
The Departed in a bit. So what's up, Hunter?
Has Simon Pegg ever like used an American accent? 'Cause I don't think I've ever seen a movie where he has. If he has, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's something like early on when he had to like do like minor roles, but he did a lot of stuff in England, so he didn't really like come here.
And
he
the
doesn't
movie I
like
think
the
it was
ad-
called Headhunters, and it's a successful business headhunter who secretly funds his lavish lifestyle with sideline art and theft. Learns that one of his contacts has a valuable painting. He resolves to steal it, not realizing the deadly world of trouble he's entering. That doesn't really ring a bell with what I remember, but yeah, it's about two opposing like assassins or thieves or whatever. And yeah, Coster Waldar.
It's David O'Hara is the actor's name.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. It was taking me forever to find him. And Hunter, I'll post a picture of him so you can see. Oh shit, he's the one who played the crazy guy in Braveheart, the crazy Irish guy.
Oh my god, he is?
Yep.
Holy shit!
Yep.
My favorite.
Wow, shut up, Hunter. Have you seen Braveheart?
Yeah, I've seen Braveheart. It's good.
Oh, that 100% is the same guy.
Why do I
it?
feel like that was the most unconvincing answer I've ever heard in my life?
I have.
seen
Here's the
it.
thing. I have seen it, but like, it's just like, it's such a. In my eyes, that is such a dad movie where I'm just like, okay. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that to be disparaging. I mean that, and like that is something my dad watched all the time, and it was
That
like,
is something my dad also watched all the fucking time. He had the book. He made me read the book.
Eric, he's Fitzy. He's Fitzy in The Departed. He's one of the guys who's like, we didn't text you right. You weren't in the right place.
You're right.
He's
yeah.
I
haven't seen The Departed in so long.
Hunter,
so.
Stephen in Braveheart is like probably the only character in the movie who's like a character. That and I think Hamish is his name. Stephen is a wild-eyed Irishman who talks to God half the time.
You mean all Irishmen?
Well, excuse you. I don't talk to God any of the time. But,
Fucking got his ass.
In the middle of a conversation, he's like, "Yes, Father, I'll ask him." And someone's like, "Are you communing with the Almighty? You fucked in the head." And he said his answer is the Almighty says, "Don't change the fucking subject, just answer the goddamn question."
Yep. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and he was in Doomsday as the general that took over after the prime minister got killed.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. That movie's great. Have you not seen Doomsday recently?
I have not seen Doomsday all the way. I started.
Oh God!
Yeah, no, it's one
Connor,
of those things where I was like, I need to get back to it.
We need to have a discussion about your inability to finish things.
I know it's gotten really
Doomsday.
bad in the past like decade or so, and I think it's the what everyone suspects is like I think I just have an attention span problem.
Yeah.
ADHD.
No, you don't say.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Arlen was like, yes.
Yeah, no, that's that. You didn't even have to say it. We could have told you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even my I think last time I was at my therapist, who's on vacation right now, which is why I haven't had any sessions, was like I was explaining to her how I absorb media, and she just kind of did that thing where like she like her head snapped back and her eyes got real big. She's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. And I told Joe, and Joe was like, that makes my fucking eyes hurt just hearing about it. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like that cacophony of movie music you heard, that's how I play all my video games. I have to have loud ass music coming from that, and then I have a
Well,
YouTube video playing.
yeah.
And I can
Well, okay, that's
and I
weird.
can digest Avengers the music, which it stimulates me emotionally, and I can listen to that YouTube video all at the same time. However, like at some points, it does turn into white noise. Like at some points, I'm like, yeah. So
I mean, with video games in particular, that's only one level weirder than what I do. I've talked about this before. I listen to podcasts with about 90% of all video games that I play. It
Yeah.
depends
See,
on
I
how
can't-
story based
I
it
can't
is.
do that.
Yeah. No, I have to
I
be
can't
in
do
the
it.
game.
if it's something like, so I played, what did I played Hellblade with headphones
Mm.
on because I was told to. They said
Right.
don't listen. Yeah, I sat there and played that game. I played Spider-Man all the way through with like no distractions because I was very engaged in that.
Yeah,
I
same.
played when I was playing Red Dead, I was playing that without any distractions. It depends on what, like the first time I played through any Arkham game, completely.
It does depend. So it also depends on what part of the game I'm playing. So if I'm in Red Dead and I'm just riding around shooting at bears, I'm listening to a podcast. If I'm
that was
Stop
so funny.
shooting me. Stop.
if I'm God damn it.
Stop it, you guys.
If I'm
Jesus, we're on vacation.
if I'm killing random farmers and bringing them to the ceremony spot where you can resurrect them as zombies, which is a thing you can do in that game.
Fucking love that game.
It's
Since
so
when?
fucking good.
Is-
Eric, that's
wait,
a thing in the game. If you
No,
so
but-
you bring
Well, no, I'm aware of the spot that you're talking about where the pentagram is, but I didn't realize you could bring them back as zombies.
it's not really like zombies, but like they will regenerate their character model.
That's fucking. Yeah.
So if you bring a person there who's dead, and then you go and kill a mountain lion nearby, and you bring it to that same place, the mountain lion will disappear, and the character model for that person that you killed will completely regenerate. They won't be
Whoa.
walking around, but they will be pristine and clean if you bring them to that ceremony site.
You got the clean faces
Huh.
mod on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But dirty asses.
It's a really weird
need the
thing. All
faces
these weird
clean.
little corners. But if
Just
I'm
to
doing
feel
that stuff,
something.
I listen to a podcast. When I was neck deep in the Red Dead story mode and like Dutch just going after it,
No, I-
like
like,
that
gotta
was
play.
different.
I left off in that game, and like I'm almost to the point. This is where I left off to the point where I could feasibly start over and have a
Mhm.
better experience with it. I could also try and finish it, but I feel like I've lost the
Probably.
context. I left off right when Dutch and storms the manor and
You
kills that
know-
entire family.
Actually, I think that's early enough in.
Yeah,
That's
I thought
pretty
that was
early.
pretty
Missed a
early
lot.
on.
That's
Okay,
pretty
'cause I, know that
early.
game, I heard that game was long.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
the
know,
other game
it's
I fell off
meaty.
of was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is breaking my heart because I was really invested in that. But the problem
That
is,
game
I
is so
started
good.
phenomenal.
I started to fuck off too much and was just looking for like artifacts,
Mm.
and I was doing like
Right.
Yeah.
I did what I did in Skyrim, which is like I saw a fucking butterfly and just ran off. Which also ties back into my fucking attention problem.
Another
Mhm.
example where I would be listening to a podcast. Because,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
See,
also like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Did anybody sleep with what's his face's wife?
No.
Yeah.
Sigurd?
No.
Oh, I did, and I felt
I
good the
did.
whole fucking time.
No, I think that's
I didn't feel bad at all.
that's one of the ways you get the best ending is by not sleeping with her.
Oh fuck, man!
Yeah,
I
well-
Assassin's Creed Odyssey'd myself again.
Yeah.
You know what? It was worth it though.
It was worth it. Okay, Sigurd's a piece of shit at this point. He's
Yeah,
he's
fuck
I
Sigurd.
guess
Well,
I'm like, fuck you.
It explains itself at the end. But yeah, I don't know. Like Hunter, I know you chimed in on it a little bit too, but like I can't do that when I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
Like I have to be all in, or it's
Sure.
not worth my time.
If I'm
Yeah,
on
and then
PC,
it also-
I have headphones in.
It
Like,
also
I
happens
can't.
when I'm
Eric,
watching,
I
like-
have.
It
Yeah.
also happens when I'm watching a movie on my. If I'm watching a movie on a computer, sometimes I get so listless, I have to start cleaning or I have to boot up the Xbox or something like
Oh.
my it happens more at movies in the past decade or so, which is where I think this has really started to become noticeable for me, is where like my focus just drifts. And it also happens at work too. It happens less at work now because I'm so much more relaxed, I've noticed. By the way, I don't know who's listening, who cares, but I did get a new job. I'm in a different hospital, my shift changed and everything, and like it's much better. I even told my boss today, I was like, hey, I'm super happy here. He was like, oh, good to hear. He's like, I'm actually happy to hear that. The pacing is manic, but like I don't know, it suits me for some reason. I don't know how to explain it. But with movies, like
I do. It's constantly offering you new stimuli, so you can stay
yeah,
you can
yeah, I
stay
think that's what
paying
it is.
attention to
I
it.
think that's what
Because
it is.
you're
Because like my
you're
eyes
high
are
on
like,
drugs.
Oh yeah, he's just shooting ketamine into his eye sockets.
well, I think is what it is like I finish one thing, I'm like, there's 4 more things I can do.
Right.
And like there's constantly someone to assist and help. And like I said before that we started recording, like I'm working with a bunch of kids now, and I mean kids like who have been in that hospital for like
10-year-olds.
4 weeks. 10-year-olds. What has become of this field?
I'm gonna save a kitty.
No, like some girl came in today, and I was like, I can't remember what I mentioned, but I was like, how old are you? She
You don't
goes,
work here.
She goes, I'm 18. I was like, fuck.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're entering that fun age where you're starting to
Oh,
realize
no.
everyone under the age of 30 looks
Fuck.
like a 12-year-old.
Fuck, yeah. And like I've got people who are like, what sucks is I've got people who were there who are good at their job, but have been freaked out by other people who have been this long enough to the point where if I do something differently from that person, this child has a fucking heart attack.
Mhm.
Like I was taking X-rays with somebody today, and I'm like, well, you know, we'll shoot this way, and she was like, oh well, this person just crops that part of the X-ray out. I'm like, or we can just shoot the whole thing, or we can adjust the field and shoot higher and not have to crop anything out. And she's like, and I can see her having like an internal like explosion. She's like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I'm like, Delaney, calm down. Like
Delaney, aim the X-rays at my chest. I need to gain superpowers.
Delaney, I'm gonna put my head. I should
We-
freak her the fuck out and just stick my head beneath the rain. But like, this is fine. Just do it. She just leaves me
Pull
as
the
my boss.
switch.
Yeah. I want to have big brains.
Sam Elliott's gonna show me.
But like, it's like I have to be like, I've been doing this for, which is what I think. At this hospital, it hit me. I was like, I've been doing this for almost a decade. There's no reason I should feel so rattled all the time. Which is why I think I've been easing into this so easily. But I have to tell her, I'm like, I've been doing this for 9 years. Believe me when I say we can do it differently. It's fine. You don't have to die every time something changes. But also like I'm dealing with people whose first reaction to a bad animal is to respond with like, grr, like fucking asshole. And it's funny for me to walk over and just be like, nah, like honestly, if you just don't register an emotional response at all, everything goes way easier because they're feeding off of you. So if you walk up to them and be like, meh, they respond like dogs respond with like, all right, whatever.
Or dogs
You're not-
respond with, like, wait, you're not paying attention to me? Pay attention to me. Be my friend. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, and I haven't had an incident where an animal has like fucked with me or tried to fight me too hard. The other thing is, I'm not the tallest, biggest, most muscle-bound person. Like I'm very average. But the problem is I work with these little girls who like are picking up these 120-pound dogs. And they're like, Connor. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in there in a second. Like
This is Connor McGraw, dog puncher, MD.
no, well, okay. We had a doctor there who is currently disgraced, as in lost his license.
Oh no.
Because he worked there before I came back. Well, he worked there the first time I worked there. And I left, worked at Rainbow for a little while. Oops, shouldn't have said that. Worked different hospital for a while. He had a one day there. He did relief work there. Was bounced out of there fucking day afterwards. My boss was like, that guy's never allowed to come back here. And then he got terminated from the place I'm at now initially because he went out drinking with one of the employees and punched her in the face.
What? Hold on. Hold on.
Well,
What?
she's not a dog. How does that connect to my story?
Well, but the thing is, I have seen him punch animals in the face too.
Jesus
And that
Christ.
has fucked with me
Fuck.
ever since. I'm like, I will never do that to a fuck animal. Which is
Was
why
he
like,
drunk?
Whoa.
well, not at that time, but there were other times where he would come into work and you could smell like you could smell Corona on him. Like
Oh,
and
no.
there were
Wow.
times where he would come in and like he's in the same clothes from the day before, and you could see that his nostrils are beat fucking red.
But
He's-
Connor, what beer could you smell?
Well, wait, and my big question is like,
Uh,
he's a vet. Shouldn't he be able to afford better stuff than Corona?
right. She should
He
be at
was a-
least able to
He
do
was a vet
Modelo
who
or
liked
you know.
younger Spanish boys who couldn't speak a lot of English because he did.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So he
Oh,
convinced
no.
the cops it was fine when they were running out of his house bloody.
No
And they
comment.
returned him back to him.
no comment.
Exactly, yeah.
And he
and
drove
then-
a hole in their head.
Connor, were you
Gee.
working with the reincarnated Jeffrey Dahmer? Dahmer?
exactly.
Oh my god. Well, no, like, and like, there was something where like he got into like a fender bender and like I think shifted blame to this Latin boy he was seeing at the time who wasn't legal and then got deported because of it. I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
some fucked
What?
up shit. Yeah, like and this was he was when I first worked with him, he was a first year doctor. And like some of the first years that I had to work with in this field have been like rock star shitheads who were like, I'm the fucking best thing since sliced bread. I'm gonna campaign to get your lunches taken away, kind of people. Like that's the kind of fucking dickheadedness I would work with for a while. Thankfully, like
these
at
are
where I'm like
these
I'm
are
back this place.
veterinarians. These are
Yes.
Yes.
One of them
I
was this
don't-
dude who came in who looked like he was like a dime store Doctor Who, bow tie and everything. He's
Oh,
the same
no.
guy who campaigned to take away our lunches. Was getting corrected one day by a technician, and his response was to slam his chart down and scream in this woman's face, "Shut the fuck up right now!" And the response from the room was a dead hush. And my friend Rigo, who is a trained mixed martial artist, looked at him and said, "Get the fuck out of here right now." And he did. And then
mean, yeah.
this doctor cried.
Well, Arlen, and I don't mean this to sound any way condescending or like, oh, I can't believe we didn't know this, but like, you do understand that vets have to go to school so much longer than even
Man,
like,
the
a
veterinary
human
field.
doctor.
Here's the thing. The veterinary field, the way it functions, and like, here's the thing. I love what I do, but I love what I do for very, very specific reasons. I love what I do because like
Right. Yeah.
I have an affinity for making a bond with animals, and I can handle them well, and that
Yeah.
releases like this like it makes me feel so fucking fulfilled to like to bridge that gap
Right.
between species and see them recover, which is why I really enjoy doing acupuncture, because I would see a dog come in that could not walk and would leave that afternoon having a significant amount of increased mobility. There was this Schnauzer named BB who came in with back problems, who like 3 sessions later was jumping all over the place. I'm like, that's fucking incredible. But
Mhm.
the field itself is flawed. And like I think you guys
Okay,
got a
yeah.
big taste of that by what happened with my previous place, which was bought by a fucking corporate medicine company. And like they started initiating all these fucking bullshit changes, which is one of the reasons why I left in the first place. But like it's not funded well. Everything is priced out the ass because like we're seen as fake medicine. We're not seen as real fucking like I'm sure Eric
Yeah.
has at least got a taste of this. Like we're people walk in and be like, well, I read on Google I can do this. And it's like, well, then you know what? Get the fuck out of here. Go somewhere else.
Well, I think some of it too is, and it's something I didn't really think about until I had my own pets, like ones that they solely rely on me, is that
Mhm.
it's very expensive, and there is no like
Yes.
reasonable like veterinary care insurance out there, other than the ones that are overpriced, and the amount of money that you'll actually be saving is only worth it if your dog has a huge operation. Like it doesn't really
Mhm.
cover like day-to-day stuff.
We had
But
a
like,
client at my previous place who had racked up over so much money in medical bills on her dogs that her insurance company cut her off.
Yeah.
Just
But,
flat
like,
out cut her off.
but that's the thing. A lot of people I think have issues with veterinary science is that they don't understand like it is a ridiculously specialized field when you're a veterinarian, like full-on veterinarian. Like you have gone to school for many, many years, more
Yeah.
so than an actual like
Mm.
physician MD. So it's going to be a more expensive thing because it's a more specialized field.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't appreciate the fact that that's
No.
why it costs so much.
No, and the other thing they don't appreciate is like, okay, you're sick, you go to a doctor, what do? You walk in and go, my stomach hurts. And he goes, all
Yeah.
right, we'll do diagnostics.
Mm.
So a dog walks in and it's vomiting. We're like, all right, well, we've got a range from this to 6
Yeah.
more fucking things. And the only way to figure that out is to diagnose, is to just diagnostics.
Assume the worst.
We have
Yeah.
to assume the worst or like start in the middle and work in one direction or the other. And one of the problems I had with some doctors I work with is that they wouldn't start small. They would walk into a room and this person, this is something else I fucking couldn't stand about working with some people, is that these people walk in and like empathy is a big part of this job, obviously. And these people walk in like tears rolling down their face. Yeah, fuck them cats. Fuck you and your finances. These people walk in, tears streaming down their face. And like, I don't think people appreciate the bond that other people have with their animals who don't have animals, who don't really care for pets or whatever, or think they're just property. I've seen a woman so distraught over her dog getting into a dog fight that she was puking into a trash can. Like crying, not just from the shock of it, crying so violently that she was throwing up, and that's a sound I never want to hear ever again. I've also heard people just wail into the heavens, like it's nightmarish, some of the things I've had to hear. But like I've seen doctors walk in and this person's like, I have $200 to my name right now, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
We had people who just racked with financial problems during COVID. And I work with doctors who walk in and go like, all right, yeah, cool. They come back, they leave the room, come back and go, here's a $1,500 estimate.
Yep.
And like even the basic diagnostics they would offer were $300, $400, $500, because like to some of these people is unfortunately a numbers thing, and that drove me fucking insane, because at some points of the day you'd hear them go like, yeah, we did this, but also my numbers are low. I'm like, why is that a primary concern for you? Like, why is that number 2 on the list of things that happened today? Like,
because it's still a medical field, and the medical field has been hardly compromised.
Oh God, it's so bad.
Yeah,
we can
especially
transition.
in this country.
I've never talked about work this much on the podcast. It does feel good, but I would like to get away from it for a little while.
We've never been this. I don't think we've ever been this like open in general. But
I will say, to people who listen to this, thank you, because that was fucking liberating. Because I don't get to talk about it too much on Movie Dumpster because there's not enough time for it, but we have a little more freeform, so I can talk about it more. And also, I don't think people really know what I do in the specifics of it. I'm a veterinary assistant. I work beneath the technicians. My primary job is like restraint. I can pull blood. I can run labs. I can give certain medications. I give some vaccines. That's about it. But the thing I do mostly is like veterinary care. So like that's what I like doing more. In fact, like every time I look at kennels, I'm like, that looks so much more relaxing. Like
I love the idea that we have some like 90-year-old like just living in the middle of nowhere like hick who just heard you say pulling blood, like he's a blood wizard. He's a goddamn hemo-mancer. Get him.
I really hope we don't, but if we do,
I have
I
never heard the term
Hemo-mancer,
and that is fan-fucking-tastic.
When Connor, when you said that you restrain dogs, all I could picture was you like MMA style, just putting him in your camel choke.
Here's okay. This is the last thing I'll say when we can transition. Like one of the restraint techniques we do is a lateral restraint, which is to grab the dog by you approach him from the side, you grab him by the innermost leg towards you, front and back, and you just kind of slowly slide them down your knees so they're on their side. Now the problem is that works with like really big dogs, because sometimes if you're not careful, they're gonna kick you in the fucking face, and it's happened to me plenty of times. In fact, I had a big dog wrestle me so hard that I put him in lateral. It bucked me off without effort, and then I felt teeth on my ear, which is a horrifying feeling, because I was like, whoo! I'm like, and it was a German Shepherd. I'm like, man, if I gave him one more inch, I would have lost a piece of my body. But like newer people will walk up to like a dachshund and they're like lateral. I'm like, let me tell you something. If you walked into your doctor's office and you're like, I don't know, my legs hurt or my arm hurts, my shoulder hurts. And he's like, cool. And he just double leg takes down you right there in the middle of the fucking room. You'd be fucking terrified, wouldn't you?
I think actually that would be a lot cooler if when you went into the doctor's office and you give them a rough idea of what was wrong with you, and they're like,
he just
all right, if
wrestles
you can, well, yeah, if he's like, if you can beat me in a match, you don't owe anything. We pay by trial by combat. That's the new way to do things.
I'm red in the face when that comes. But no, yeah, I have to tell some younger people. I'm like, hey, like that's probably terrifying. This animal, don't do that. I'm like, just hold them.
Right.
It's fine. They're a puppy. Like, imagine you're like a pediatrician. Like it's your first time at the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, you're sick, and he just fucking gives you a stone cold stunner or something like that. Like it's the same thing.
Yes, he puts you in a rear naked choke and is just whispering in your ear the whole time.
Yeah.
Go to
Tell me
sleep.
what's
Go to
wrong,
sleep.
baby.
Yeah, like you
Tell me
like
what's
I'm
wrong.
like, yeah, like you like, oh man, my fucking neck hurts. All right, hip toss. Like
Yeah, exactly.
You
Death
you
Valley
go to
Driver.
Randy Orton and you
Um,
say, "I have this rash," and then he just starts licking you.
just yeah.
Um,
I love when you pull from the only like 4 years of wrestling you watch because it's the most hyper specific, creepy things that company has ever done. Like the mid 2000s are a dark time for pro wrestling.
It's not even 4 years. It's just this 1 year, and I remember like these flashes, and then the high point is Randy Orton licking Stephanie McMahon's face. That's the peak.
After he violently assaulted her.
Yes.
Well,
That was also a
it's-
weird time in wrestling where like Vince was totally okay with like gigantic people just beating the fuck out of his daughter. It was
Yeah.
weird as fuck.
The
Hunter,
only
you
way I
remember-
can finish.
And like
Hunter,
weird
remember when
storylines where
A-Train-
it's like the Big Show wants to like kill her and rape her, like
yeah,
it's Straw
dude,
Dogs.
there is a Hunter. You probably remember this. There's two things that come to mind. One, it was when Vince kept sending Prince Albert out there to just like assault Stephanie, and like there's just
Yeah.
multiple shots of Albert just beating the fuck out of this woman.
Fucking
other one was-
weird.
Was
I-
Kurt Angle's heel turn where I swear to God, these words came out of his mouth. He wanted to have sex with Booker T's wife, but he said, not just regular sex. I want to have rough animal bestiality sex with your wife. Now, this is
So
a
weird.
white man on TV saying this to
Yeah.
a black man's wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Not good.
image. Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
good.
The thing
I
about it that
just-
makes me laugh is that it's coming from the most pure man I've ever seen in that sport, which is Kurt Angle, who is like he's a fucking golden retriever. Like
Yeah, well, and the additional weird part is like most of this happened on Raw, which
Yes.
was the most popular wrestling thing at that time. Even I remember that.
yeah.
Which is fascinating that was
Not
the
anymore.
most popular
Oh, not
wrestling.
Well,
man,
I'd
that,
like-
that company's woes currently are hilarious. But yeah, know what you're
I-
saying, Eric?
I'd like to understand, and I know I never will, why anyone who's the child of the man who's making the decisions, like, all right, well, this is going to be a storyline for like a year where I'm trying to have everyone rape and kill you. Like, how? What psychological issues do you have?
Okay, the only McMahon kid that seems to have their head and their shoulders is Shane, because Shane at some point has walked away from this company and went and did his own
Mhm.
business ventures elsewhere and like became successful. I think he helped launch like a streaming network. He had some business ventures in China. He's
coming to
invested in MMA.
AEW soon.
Maybe.
He will be.
It would
More likely.
That would be-
not
It's
shock
starting to
me.
look like it.
That would be
Yeah.
insanity. Eric, are you saying that you don't believe that the daughter of a megalomaniac millionaire would be a lackey for said billionaire/millionaire?
She said
She
she literally said that the steroid trial was like her 9/11. Like straight
right,
up.
yeah.
Oh,
just-
she also
exactly.
she's what
And
did
that she
say
would
a couple years ago?
that
said,
she would simp for him even after creepy things. Who would believe that? I wonder if anything in the last 4 years would present that thing happens all the time among the super rich.
Well, and I've said on the show before too. Like, there was a story he pitched where she was pregnant, and he was like, "What if I'm the father?" And she was like,
Yes.
"No, Dad, gross." And he's like, "Okay, fine." What if
I'm
your
surprised
brother
she
was the
said no,
father?
Dad. I'm surprised that she said no, Dad. Like, because here's the thing. I'm fairly sure that Vince, and I was making a Trump reference there before, in case it went over anybody's
I
head.
mean, they're very much the same, so it's
They're the same exact person. The fact that they're like best
Who's
friends
Trump?
or whatever is not a surprise. I can't actually put a face to the name. I just know the name. I must have erased this person from my memory. But I'm pretty sure they sent their daughters to the same weird ass finishing school where they're taught to just like do whatever their father says.
Well, their fathers were certainly into finishing things.
That's the thing. I don't think the McMahon kids had that kind of upbringing because like Vince is such a fucking carny. But I feel like the upbringing is still thematically the same.
Yeah.
The other thing is like
Right.
Vince also
If it's
committed
not,
to a storyline where he had an affair with his comatose wife for like 8 months. And like there was that story he did with Trish Stratus where Linda McMahon was medicated into a stupor for an extended period of time, and he would parade her out on TV. And first of all, Linda McMahon is the worst fucking actor who's ever fucking lived. She can't even be medicated into a coma convincingly because she's so bad.
I mean,
Which
relative to
requires,
other things that she's
requires
done,
nothing but
that's
sitting there.
impressive.
And he would go out there with Trish Stratus, who like I feel really fucking bad for because like she turned out to be like a hell of a performer and like got it immediately once we let her wrestle. Would suck her face, he would lick her chest, he would make her bark like a dog in front of Linda, and like this is what he considered to be entertainment. And the other thing was like oh fuck, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but like over the years, like, he's done these kind of things on TV, and Stephanie, I think CM Punk said it in that fucking pipe bomb interview. He said like, Vince McMahon is a millionaire who should be a billionaire, and he'll make money despite himself. And everyone says his company will be better when he dies, but that's not the case because it'll go to his dumbass daughter and doofus son-in-law, referring to Triple H. I want to mention Shane because, like I said, Shane is the only one who ever walked away and said, like, I'm good. Also, Shane was positioned to be the heir to that company. And then Triple H, either a stroke of genius or, whether he not, like, their relationship is at all legitimate, like, politicked his way into becoming the boss's daughter's husband and basically axed Shane out of the entire equation, which is one of the reasons why he left. Also, I'm pretty sure Triple H was cheating on China with Stephanie at the time. So, like, that's the kind of brain processes that these people have. That like they're all morally compromised. They're all like some level of insane, and they're all perfectly okay with exploiting every aspect of their bodies, other people's bodies, all for the sake of entertainment. And there will never be another McMahon family ever again. And I think when they die, that company's gonna change so much.
I wish the part of this that was gross is that was unique to wrestling or to that part of wrestling. I don't think it is.
It's not. Wrestling's a carny fucking industry that's never wanted to change. And like AEW is the only thing I've seen so far where it's like this feels fresh. The other thing that felt fresh was Lucha Underground, which was produced by Robert Rodriguez. And it aired on what did it air on? That
it was El Rey. It was El Rey Network.
It was produced by Robert Rodriguez, and like they're like, fuck it, wrestling's fake. So let's just like here's Mil Muertes. He is the embodiment of 10,000 people who were killed in a fucking earthquake. Here's El Star. I can't remember his fucking like Astro or something like that. He's a literal alien. Here's Drake. Here's Drago. He's a dragon. And then like there was somebody else named Killshot who was a military marksman who has the highest kill record in his platoon. Like there was a cigar smoking pit bull walking Spanish gangster who ran the whole thing named Dario Cueto, who would commit to having wrestling characters murdered on screen, like in these weird.
He also had a monster in a cage at one point.
Yes,
it was fucking weird. It was a great show.
It was fantastic because like it took the idea of wrestling and was like, it's stupid as fuck. Let's just run with the idea that's dumb as fuck. Also, it gives Jim Cornette an aneurysm, which is why I love it even more. Because like, he's like fucking and I think the wrestler Ezekiel Jackson, who was in WWE, went over there and he was like some bodyguard, and he failed, and like I guess they wrote him out by having Dario Cueto put a cigar in his eye and then fed him to dogs. and then he was never seen again.
Yeah, fucking great show.
I can appreciate that because there's a level of like self-awareness and not pretending. This is the thing I'm sure you guys have noticed is just, I don't like inauthenticity and just acting like you have more to give than you really do. Like it bothers me every single time. It bothers me.
And I've always said that the illusion.
movies-
Well, I heard someone say that the illusion of wrestling is ruined the second you do an Irish whip because, like, you grab some other wrist and you go, okay, now run across the ring. What force in the universe compels them to go, yes? They just do it. Like, they just run across the ring and right back at you. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. But you buy it because the rest of it is so ridiculous. And the reason why I think that like other companies have tried like Lucha Underground and like to an extent, Matt Hardy of the Hardy Boys, I'm sure that name resonates with everybody here at least at some point. He was doing these things called cinematic matches where he was, as opposed to doing these like actual like matches typically, Hunter, I'm talking about the Final Deletion.
Yeah.
He decided to become a fucking madman and sprayed a streak of blonde in his hair, started talking in an accent like this that has no discernible origin, and kept saying that he was the vessel of all these old deities. And then his match with his brother.
He said he knew Martin Luther King at one point. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, like he is a vessel. Matt Hardy, the person, is a vessel, and he is the home to many spirits who have known many historical figures. He had a zoo with a giraffe named George Washington. Yeah, and then like you go to his house.
He actually does have a zoo, by the way.
He does have a zoo. He's stupid rich.
I was gonna say, is he Mason from Call of Duty Black Ops?
Yes. Actually, yes.
But the match he had with Jeff wasn't a wrestling match. They just brawled around his property for like 20 minutes, and like other wrestlers would cameo and break the fourth wall. He threw a guy into a lake, and they came out as an older gimmick. Like it was called the Lake of Rejuvenation, and so like he threw Shane Helms in there, and he came out as Hurricane Helms, and they're like, "Ah, you've returned." He named a boat and uses the boat for protection.
It's a dilapidated boat.
Dilapidated boat. Him and someone else hit a guy with a shovel, buried him alive, and then said, "Wow, we surely buried this." Oh God.
Leo's here.
Oh,
Hi, Leo.
things are gonna get crazy now.
It's been long enough, and he has now joined the call. Yeah, like it was all these fourth wall breaking shenanigans, and it's the most inventive thing I've seen wrestling do in years, and people shat on it left and fucking right.
You don't have to be Leo if you don't want to. We don't mind.
Yeah, stay.
What is he, a dog?
Friend, stay.
Yeah.
He's probably still at work, so he has it muted right now.
Right.
That's normally the routine.
Yeah.
So we can wait
until
until
the
he
Uber driver part.
exactly.
Of his
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, he's waiting for his Uber driver to pull up so he can come back on and talk to us.
Or he's waiting until like 2:45 in the morning to try and talk to us when no one's on here.
Yeah, what I
and then say I was high.
But yeah, no. But like as far as Vince goes, like his whole family's a fucking freak show, and I don't think we'll ever have like a family like him again.
No.
And as soon as he dies, like that company's gonna change so fucking much. And honestly, if I'm speaking personally, his demise can't come soon enough.
No.
I
I mean,
don't know.
just objectively, it's the best thing for them. So
Not to change the subject real quick. I just wanted to talk about Midnight Suns real quick.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So Marvel 2K games making 2K and Fire Axis, that is very important distinction here, is making a Midnight Suns game, which is something I never thought I'd see in all my life.
Well, it's not SONS though. It's SUNS.
SUNS, yes.
Yeah.
So between like you and Movie Dumpster, like collectively, we keep willing things into existence, which I think is very bizarre.
Yeah. I'm a chaos magician, I think.
I'm a hemo. What would you call me? A hemo-mancer?
Hemo-mancer.
Hemo-mancer.
But
I pull blood.
The thing I wanted to bring up in this episode was so I read an interesting detail about how you can like build relationships with your team. So I just really like the idea of trying to romance Iron Man or Ghost Rider.
Yes. Yes.
I want to kiss the Robot Man. That's all I want to do in this game.
I mean, I think we all do just a little.
Well, I
bit.
have actual lips under here. Ew, no, ew. Put the helmet back on.
No,
Tony.
I
Ew.
want the helmet
I want
on.
to kiss that weird
No, that
C-3PO
ruins the
mouth you got.
illusion. Yeah.
I do think the
Yeah, I'll make those.
I do feel like here's the thing. I feel like the no romance thing was probably on the table at some point, and I think either someone at Marvel or Disney or both was like, "No, you can't do that with these characters."
No.
Yeah.
No, someone will do it for them. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Also,
give it like a week
Heroes
after it comes out
don't
on
do that.
PC.
They can't be lovers. They can only be friends.
There'll be
Mhm.
a mod out
Yeah.
soon.
I mean, it's not like companies can go back on big decisions all at once.
Yeah, it's not like they're just gonna rename a character just because they got called out for being pieces of shits. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I just fucking
Not
found out, not to veer off that, but like I just found out that was going on. The whole McCree thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw the post.
Such a fucking
I saw the
stupid
post,
smoke
and like the whole comment section was like, "You fucking assholes! Like you have no self awareness. You have no idea like how bad this actually looks, and you're solving nothing by doing this."
Oh well,
Yeah.
that's about as effective as changing the name of a maple syrup mascot because it's
Yeah.
completely trying to obfuscate things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the name
Yeah.
of
or
the name of
your
both the ship.
football team. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I
With
mean,
the football team
please.
thing, like that's them just like making a slight alteration to the fucking font. Like it's the same logo.
And I'm not.
Why would
I'm not saying don't change these things, but don't try and act like there's some huge thing because you've done it. Like, and then we solved
No.
racism.
No,
Like,
you didn't do shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the fucking Canada on strike episode when they're like, "Yeah, we did it. Well, we just did everything." Well, which was, I guess,
Yes.
comparative to the writer's strike, where like Trey Parker, Matt Stone were like, "Yeah, everyone in strike," and then like they got nothing, and then the people who struck initially were like, "Yeah, we got this, that, and the other thing. It was great." But yeah, like
Yeah.
I read that whole fucking letter from the Fortnite, the Overwatch team. It's like 4 paragraphs of like just self-flating, like we're aware of the problems going on. blah,
It
blah,
changes
blah, blah, blah.
fucking
It doesn't do a
nothing.
fucking
Right.
thing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for the people who had to like leave or whatever or deal with
It doesn't
abuse
bring that
Well,
girl
well,
back from the fucking dead.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
never know about half the stuff because HR accidentally shredded stuff. Oops.
Oh yeah, accidentally.
Oops.
Accidentally.
We
Mhm.
would rather take the slap on the wrist fine we're
Right.
going to get for this than the
Right,
actuality
yeah.
of having to confront
That
the
reminds
things.
me. I hear. I
Mhm.
think Arlen, didn't you post something about Disney wants to settle with Scarlett Johansson just like quietly?
Yeah, they do. And
Oh.
she shouldn't let them. She
No.
should let it go to court.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because if they want to settle, that means they're like, well, fuck. Like that means they got caught their pants down.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I'd seen that even Olsen, the one who played Scarlet Witch.
Elizabeth Olsen,
Liz-
yeah.
yeah,
Thank
Elizabeth
you,
Olsen, yeah.
Elizabeth. I was all I could think of was Ashley. But yeah, I'd seen an interview with her where she was like, "No, that's awesome, good. I'm glad she's she's kicking ass and all this other stuff." Like nobody is really saying like, "I can't believe she's doing this." It's more
No.
like, no, and you can say like, "Oh, well, she's already got money," but I don't even care about that. It's a
No.
contract. There was a contract signed.
It's not
That's the thing.
I said in the show, it doesn't matter if it's 5, 50, 500, or 5 million. It's the fact that if there was a promise made and then this company went out of their way to fuck this person on that promise, then they should get absolutely bent over in court. Like there's no reason to think that like they're the winner in this or they're the good guy in this because like
And on
So-
and look at
and
their
on that
reaction
note-
to fucking with how they're handling Shang-Chi. Like they're like, oh yeah, a 45-day run theater as an theatrical run as an experiment, and like that actor was like, "Fuck you, we're not a fucking experiment."
Well, yeah, Bob Chapek is he doesn't seem to be very good with words, with saying words. But on the Scarlet thing, this is the important thing people need to remember. Court cases, even civil cases, set precedent for future cases. So what happens in one case will affect the next case. It's not really about Scarlett. It's about a lesser actor who is not at the same level as
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, like
well, not even Gerard Butler, like somebody who's a no name. who
win or
did, like,
lose, Scarlett
gift out of a
Scarlett
contract.
Johansson will be fine, right? Like she's
Yes.
not
Yeah.
gonna like she's not losing much. This is just like they fucked her, and she's like,
And that's,
okay,
and
well,
that's why I
fuck
think
you.
the whole
But
argument
on
it's
that
about
end,
money is
not to
ridiculous.
not to get like pat her on the back too much. She's an actress who has a complicated history and a complicated public persona.
No shit, huh?
Yeah. And this is maybe like morally the best thing that she's done publicly, I would say possibly ever. She's doing something that will affect the lives of other actors and actresses for years to come. It will affect
Yeah.
how people get paid in this industry and how contracts are respected in a way that so that there won't have to be an actor's strike in a couple years, because that's the other thing. This causes other events that might have happened later on down the line not to have to happen, because you're changing the way that these studios are going to act if you bring them to court and you force them to pay a huge settlement, or even if you lose it. In a perfect world, that system would still make it better for everybody involved. In a perfect world, we'll see how that works out. So, yeah.
And
I
my
mean,
thing with when people say like, "Oh, it's about money," I'm like, dude, it's what is it? 5 million, 50 million? Like, I can't
I
remember
thought
what
it was like 6 or I think it's either 6 or 16. I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
amount.
like here's the thing. She's gonna like whatever she does next from whoever. She's gonna make that. It's not about like the amount is trivial. It doesn't matter because she's already made enough money as a successful actress. Like she's an established name. She'll go somewhere else to get that money. It's not what it's fucking about. It is very clearly about Disney being like, oh, well, I mean, we can just dodge this and and be like blatant and without mincing words, like they're just being dicks about it, and they're trying to be evil fucking Disney.
They're blaming COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And it, again, like I was saying, it causes them to make a better decision next time around, or at least make the smarter decisions.
Or to just make sure their contracts are more ironclad and blatantly obvious. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Like they're not going to make this mistake again. Obviously, with the Shang-Chi thing, like
No,
they're gonna make
Feige will
sure there's a payout.
Kevin will destroy them if they do.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's the funny thing is like that dude hasn't said a fucking word, and like internally you hear that he's just fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Because like the MCU and that entity of Disney and that branch has been like mostly free of controversy since like I guess like since Kevin took over.
Well,
And they've enjoyed a fair amount of success.
Nothing that you hear about. It's all rumors and things that you hear after the fact.
Yeah, everything that's forward facing has been untouchable, and this case shows how much of a tenuous grasp they might actually have on that. Because if the public opinion sways enough that people become not even angry, but just like, oh well, like disinterested, like it will cause this entire empire to tumble.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it think it will affect Disney more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I already think that despite the places where Disney is doing well, I think people generally do not have a positive feeling about Disney, even though many people are forced to pay large amounts of money for it, either because they have children or whatever, or they really, really love Marvel stuff.
I mean, look at the fucking Mulan thing, or how they're handling these fucking these dual releases on Disney Plus and theaters. You're charging people $30 fucking to watch a movie in their house? You criminals!
Because they can, and because
exactly.
And somehow the economics work out. I don't understand it. You know, I don't personally understand buying Black Widow for $35, but I don't know how different that choice would be if I had 3 to 5 kids who really want to see Black Widow and they want to see it.
And that's the thing. Like you're handcuffing the people who have families and kids who want to see it by like as an adult, as a parent, you're not going to take the risk of taking your kids out to a movie theater and having some asshole who didn't want to get vaccinated who just sneezed all these fucking seats. And like, I'm sorry, I've worked at 3 movie theaters. If you think people are cleaning those seats thoroughly, you're out of your fucking
now.
mind. Okay,
Yep.
you're
They
out of
were
your.
for like 2 weeks. They were actually doing their job for about
Dude,
2
let me tell you something. We
messier
had
than
there was a bed bug scare at a theater I worked at, and the word of the day every time it got brought up was deny, 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 deny.
That's fucked, yo.
We never got clarity. We were never like, I think, and like people were coming in and putting fucking trash bags over their seats. And like my boss was like, "Oh, don't worry, we had canine units come and inspect, and we had exterminators and blah 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 blah." I'm like, I never saw one of those fucking things happen here, and I'm here 5 days a fucking week. And here's the thing: in between theatrical showings of any movie, there is what 20 minutes, sometimes 15 fucking minutes, maybe a half an hour. It's not enough time for any amount of people to go into any fucking theater and clean it properly and thoroughly because there's too much trash. People are disgusting, and there's just not enough time in a day to make it actually clean. It doesn't happen. So as a parent, you're not gonna fucking roll those dice. So you're gonna so you are essentially, like you said, being forced to pay out for these fucking movies because Disney's like, well, what else are you gonna fucking do? Nana nana boo boo.
Yeah. Well, also, this is the other thing that I've heard parents talk about this. Movies are like a free babysitter in a sense. Like
Yes.
they're the best
That's
babysitter.
fucked.
No, dude. Okay, again, theater experience. I've seen parents bring their kids to like just fucking shovelware kids movies that are just worthless, and like one was like this fucking movie that George Lucas produced called Delgo, and I read it only made 10 grand for its theatrical run.
That's actually hilarious.
Like, and
Nobody has said the word Delgo aloud. 15 years.
I thought it was a good idea.
This came out in 2008.
Yeah. And like when it like played for the whole like paltry, I don't know, 4 or 5 days we had it, like parents would show up just sunken-eyed, defeated, with their just like these awful little imps running around just destroying everything they fucking see, knocking over our giant Marmaduke standee my friend spent 2 days building. And just sit there and just watch them just commit to the screen, and the parent would shut down.
Yeah. No, I've heard parents talk about like, you sleep for the first hour, I sleep for the second hour. I've heard, like, it's insanity, but it's what you have to do.
No, that's utter bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't use a place that, I don't know, maybe there's somebody playing devil's advocate here, but also just kind of disgusted at the idea of people using movie theaters as babysitters. You don't bring your fucking kid someplace where somebody who, let's say, I don't know, enjoys animation and wants to just go see a movie and shouldn't have to be fucking subjected to your child's inability to actually deal with being in a movie.
Oh, you mean my entire experience of Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I mean,
Yeah, no.
Eric, I don't disagree with you. People shouldn't do what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that they do.
No, I agree with both of you.
Yes,
like it does happen, but also at the same time, like having had to clean up after these just fucking demons that come in with these parents, like who just aren't paying attention. Like we had Despicable Me stand up in our theater, and it came with those Weeble Wobbles, those fucking those things, the sand bases, and they're inflatable. You knock them over, they pop back up, and they were minions. I would watch as parents just checked out of existence altogether as their fat, overbearing, hyper-caffeinated child would take one of these inflatables and use it to literally steamroll other children and like actually beat them up. Like I saw one kid swinging one of the other kids, and none of the parents are paying attention. And when we speak up, they go, "Don't tell me how to parent my kid." And that is the most they'll engage. That's it.
That's why there should be an age restriction on bringing children to movie theaters, maybe.
I agree. I went to The Grudge and heard a baby crying.
Well, that might just be The Grudge.
No, it was in the that was he meowed first of all. It was in the back of the theater, and like, it was every time something fucking petrifying would happen in that movie. This kid, like,
awesome. Speaking of movies, did anybody want to talk about any of the rumors that have recently been floating around? I know the big one. The big one for Hunter is Charlie Cox, maybe in the trailer for Spider-Man. No Way Home.
I did want to say one thing about theaters, actually, about the current state of theaters.
Suck.
I I don't
Very
like
nuanced, Hunter. Good
showing-
job. Good commentary.
They're showing videos saying that they are doing like weird steam cleanings with like these steam guns before
No,
the
they're
show.
not. There's no way.
They're not doing that. I've seen the people that work at my local theater, which is so understaffed. I've seen them go into a theater and immediately walk back out. It's really gross and disgusting.
Dude, no, not to get lost in this, but like I've seen people walk up, see a mess, and push it under the seat. It's not there.
Yeah.
They can't see it. It's not there.
And it's not better. It's not. I've walked into bathrooms recently and been like, "This is the most disgusting bathroom I've ever seen." And for those,
The thing is, it's also not just employees. It's
bathrooms professionally. I did that.
Theater patrons too. Theater patrons are the most disgusting people I've ever had to work with. I saw a guy. So okay, I have an aversion to. I mean, most people I'm sure do, but I have it makes me violently ill. Spit. I can't fucking do it. You spit on me, you spit near me, I'm gonna lose everything. My lunch, my dinner, my blood, my guts, everything. And I saw a guy walk out of a theater with a tobacco dip cup in his hand, the spit cup. Here's the thing. He makes one half-hearted attempt to throw this away by launching the cup from 4 feet away at the trash can. It hits the rim, splashes everywhere. He looks me dead in the face, shrugs and says, "I tried," and walks out of the fucking room.
Ill. Bad.
Yeah.
That's
That's what
anyways,
you're dealing with at a fucking movie theater. But anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home. My God, Willem Dafoe.
Spider-Man, yeah. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
There was a trailer.
Yeah.
There was a trailer. I barely remember it. I only watched it once, but
wow.
Yeah.
I watched it 2 or 3 times because I was trying to get some details. Like I watched 2 or 3 times because I watched this YouTube channel called The Canadian Lad, and what he basically does is he goes through every Marvel release, trailer, episode, movie. He watches them at half speed, and he just pulls out all the fucking details he can, and he talks about them. And I honestly, I'm like, you're doing God's work. I won't do that shit. You can.
Right.
He's the reason I saw Lizard, or possibly Lizard. He's the person who showed me that Peter is dressed exactly like Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 in the beginning. And other stuff like that. And so that's the only reason why I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. But as far as like rumors go, like because of everything else that's been in that is so far that we've seen either confirmed
like Mephisto.
Oh my God. You know,
that's Doctor Strange, obviously.
I know it's a meme, but like there's people out there who are like, oh, that picture of Peter Parker with the devil horns on him. It says like the devil in disguise. That's Mephisto confirmed, and they're doing it unironically.
No.
I don't want Mephisto to ever appear in any media ever again.
Mephisto has become Harambe. He has reached Harambe level of just like stop. Make it end. This needs to end now.
The only thing they should do with Mephisto is have Doctor Strange almost say his name and then get interrupted, and that should be the only mention of him ever. Be like, maybe Mephisto, and then like Wong comes in or somebody says something to him, and
and then Taskmaster's there.
Wong just goes like, "No, we've dealt with him, and he's done with forever," and then he's never brought up again.
We killed him. We killed him. Remember?
We killed him violently, and his body's in the basement. We can go look at it right now.
But we won't, because fuck you.
The other thing I wanted to bring up that wasn't Spider-Man related, well, kind of. So there is a wild rumor going around about Multiverse of Madness, if anybody wants to hear about this.
I do.
I might have heard of it already, but go ahead.
Because I think someone mentioned something and I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Supposedly, and this is something I saw briefly, which wasn't from any type of reliable source, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh God, what is their name? The group that not the Initiative. The group that was like Tony Stark and Reed Richards and Namor and
the Illuminati.
The Illuminati might appear in Multiverse of Madness, and
I mean
Professor Xavier might be in there.
So, okay, when they say Illuminati, do they mean an Illuminati from another planet, or do they mean?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, it had mentioned Balder the Brave being in it, Professor Xavier.
Balder
I
it being in it is interesting.
Yeah, I forget who the other members of it were. So it wouldn't be like the Illuminati from the comics because they don't have all the characters
Yeah, they don't have.
and
in the
also
movies yet.
having any Tony Stark involved at this point would be insulting.
Exactly.
Right. It would
But-
need to. Yeah, it would need to be in a different.
The other thing
Illuminati.
I saw, this is you remind me, I did see something, and this is where I said like, who the fuck is that? It was that
Oh,
report
yeah.
that was like Daniel SPK, whatever the fuck his name
Daniel
was.
RPK.
Daniel RPK has
Yeah.
confirmed that there's going to be a giant battle between Wanda and one of the X-Men. I'm like, who the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I have no idea what that's all about.
And like, here's the thing: when WandaVision was running, I was keeping an eye on this one site that I think I talked about this while we were watching WandaVision. It was this one site, I can't remember their name. They kept posting these bullshit spoilers, like
Cosmic
blue-
Book News.
like no, it wasn't Cosmic Book News. It was someone else.
Same
I'll
tier,
remember.
though. Same.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
They
Same
kept posting,
tune, different instrument.
yes,
Right. Yes.
Blue Marvel, Xavier, Magneto, like the the hex is this, the hex is not this. Pietro is gonna reappear. He's gonna be fucking played by Aaron Taylor. Like all these things that they would say, hard confirm. We have hard confirmation. This is gonna happen, and it's all just it's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen, and I don't understand the motivation behind like posting things that are easily
Clicks.
disprovable within a few days. I mean,
Clicks.
like that's the most obvious thing, but like
and
it's-
bot
it's- it-
farms and all this other stuff that just.
it's
Yeah.
just that I think like all of us operate on such different wavelengths of how we behave and act and like perceive this kind of stuff that like that is alien to me to do something
Yeah.
like this. So so provably wrong.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to believe the Illuminati stuff than I am.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
X-Men
with-
stuff, honestly.
With Multiverse of Madness, I'm willing to believe just about anything.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well, I'm also willing to believe that we'd see a different version of Doctor Strange in his
Yeah.
own movie. Oh,
Yeah.
the other thing I've heard about Far From Home is that there's that scene where Strange is punching Peter out of his body, like he did with Bruce.
Mhm.
And Peter's holding something, I can't remember what it's called, but apparently in Marvel, it's a box used to access other universes. I can't remember what it's called.
Mm.
But Peter is stealing it because Norman Osborn has convinced him that the Spider-Men from his universe and other universes are bad and are basically are okay with murdering. And
Well,
and that he needs to get away from them to be safe. And so Peter is stealing one of these things from Strange.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know how much any of the characters from prior Spider-Man movies are going to play a role in this. I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot we don't know because we're only getting exactly what they show us. And
I think what we're getting is very deceptive.
So on that note, it's important to remember, just because stuff is a rumor doesn't mean that it doesn't come from some inkling of truth.
Yeah, well, and like I remember hearing about Kylo Ren killing Han Solo in the exact same way it did, like 2 years prior to that movie's release, and I was like, no fucking way is this true.
So Connor, this is perfect because I was also about to mention that same movie. I was
it was worded as like Han calls Kylo. Well, he wasn't Kylo at that point. He was Ben.
He was Ben. They hadn't come
Ben.
with Kylo Ren,
And he was like, Han calls Ben to the bridge, and they even specified the location, everything, and the words were, Han tries to reach out to Ben, and Ben ignites his lightsaber and silences the conversation forever. That was the exact words I remember him saying, and I was like, "There's no way Han Solo would die like that." And then like I'm watching fucking Force Awakens, and I'm like, "Holy fucking shit!" And the other thing was that I mentioned this in the Mortal Kombat episode for Movie Dumpster. There was that allegedly fake script that Warner Brothers decried as like bullshit, not real, of Mortal Kombat that featured Cole, Nitara, Shang Tsung, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reiko, and every single fucking character that was in that movie when it came out. And it was a script that people were like, what the fuck are you doing with this fucking movie? And it had Sonya as a archaeologist. Cole was the main character. He was named Cole Young in that script. Warner Bros. Came out and said, no, it's bullshit. turns out that like almost 90% of that script was true. So like I do believe in the fact that like this stuff that when rumors come out, it comes from somewhere.
It probably does, because I mean, back to the Force Awakens thing. There was a prominent writer who is now discredited. His site doesn't exist anymore for multiple reasons. Who did a big release of
Ain't it cool news?
No, not that. This is why I say it that way, because you can't really say which one. But he
It's
released.
not like it's the reveal at the end of a movie. What was this?
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. I'm trying to get to the point of this, Eric. I'm trying to get to the meat here. One of the things though that was around for a while was that The Force Awakens would open with Luke's hand floating through space holding the lightsaber.
Oh my god, I fucking remember that too.
Yeah.
I thought that was ludicrous.
And years later, we got a confirmation from J.J. Abrams saying that was 100% true, and that was almost in the movie. And it only changed because, like, I don't want to say it was Ava DuVernay. It might have been something else that she had a suggestion about, but I have a vague memory of somebody saying, "No, let's not do that. That doesn't seem right." Because
here's the thing: it's morbid as fuck and just weird for a Star Wars movie to open a severed hand.
But I don't know. I think it would have been a way to be like, hey, this is a different type of Star Wars. But then they decided, nah, fuck that. I'm J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, New Hope.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, it's not even Force Awakens. That's just what it ended up being, which was like Hunter just said, nah, no plan whatsoever.
No plan at all.
Who needs a plan?
But yeah, back to Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Like, I like Hunter said, I could believe that we could see a variation of that group in the movie, because it would be an interesting way to just kind of slyly introduce things. You don't have to do a hard introduction, because that was the other part of the rumor, is that Patrick Stewart had expressed interest to Kevin that he would be willing to come back for a movie if it was the right thing. And this would be a hell of a way to do it.
This is the only way to do it, because like if I'm Patrick Stewart, I would not want to, and Hugh Jackman's like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm done.
Well, like the whole thing with like,
there's a lot of stuff there.
I could see Patrick Stewart makes more sense to me, because like they could just make the new Xavier that they're eventually going to have probably just be younger and be like, this is him in the far future. Like,
well, the other thing is like, the X-Men timeline is so fucked. Like
you don't need to worry about
the Xavier who dies in Logan, like as far as I'm concerned, is not the Xavier who's in X-Men 1, because the timeline is so convoluted and fucked up after Days of Futures Past that like I think the Xavier who dies in Logan is my branch timeline. Like I don't think it's the one we saw.
I don't know.
Connor,
I think that's you creating your own timeline with that.
I mean,
because the continuity makes no fucking sense in those movies.
Dude, the continuity ever makes sense in any of the X-Men movies?
No, and that's why I'm saying like, but I'm saying this is like you can use Patrick Stewart in a movie like this, because you don't have you don't have to acknowledge him as being the Xavier we knew. It's just
they wouldn't with new MCU movies because those Fox movies are considered Marvel legacy, quote unquote.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so I think everybody is correct here, because for one, they could easily just say that some of those are a branch timeline that the TVA erased, or one of the new ones that was created at the end of Loki. And on that note, to what Connor was saying, it doesn't have to be either of those Xaviers. It could just be another Xavier who was created by the events of Loki. They've done that already, and the way that the timeline works out, they could have gone to Patrick Stewart with an unfinished version of the finale of Loki, shown him that, and been like, that's how you come back. You're a variant. They explained to him the whole concept of the show up until that point, and they're like, you're just another version of Xavier. Would you
What's
like to
funny
do that?
is that
Alfred
Molina
in multiverse.
Alfred Molina did an interview where he said, the story for me in this movie picks up where
after I fell in the water.
After I fell in the water. Exactly. That's exactly what he said. So yeah.
So I like to believe that Marvel would do something like that, or Patrick Stewart would be that open to things, but I think he's more like, just put me in the movie. Like, I don't think Patrick Stewart really cares that much at this point. He knows what something's going to be worthwhile for
Yeah.
his time, but I don't think they would go to that extent with him. I think
I think he understands the closure that would
Yeah.
bring.
You know what's funny? You know who doesn't understand any of it? Michael Keaton. Apparently, what I've heard from interviews is that they tried to explain to him the multiverse idea, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's
a
the
very
other thing. That's the other thing. I feel like once an actor like reaches a certain age, and almost anybody with comic book stuff, unless they're deep into it, like they're not gonna care or want to care about it. Just be like, all right, how am I in this? What are my lines? Cool, let's go. Like it's.
I think you're correct, but you got to remember this is Patrick Stewart, an actor who, and admittedly this is after the fact, he has shown that he knows more about Star Trek: The Next Generation than most cast members of that show. I think he would be. He's a little bit more willing to engage with like fans and fan theories, from what I can tell. So I think he would have some sense of what was going on, and he would want it to fit. But I agree with what you were saying earlier, where it's like he would care about the emotion of the scene.
Exactly.
He would. I agree,
and especially if he's only going to be in a single part of a movie. Like I can't see them if any of this is even true. But I can't see them bringing him back for more than that.
The other thing regarding
what matters to him is what has happened to his version of Xavier that he's playing in that moment. What does it mean to that version of Xavier?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sure he'd be interested in that to an extent. But the other thing I heard about like how this whole timeline thing and like the multiverse is gonna work is that I didn't know this because I didn't follow one. I haven't had Disney Plus in a while, so I don't know the exact approach they're going to this. But I did read today that like Marvel has confirmed that all of this stuff in What If is happening canonically in the branch timelines. And that depending on how people react to certain characters, they may bring them over into the live action stuff.
That was one of the other members of the group. I couldn't remember. Captain Carter. There have been rumors about Haley Atwell coming back to.
I would love it. I love my big wife.
Yes, that's once again.
New tall GF restaurant.
I love my big wife.
So how much would she weigh if she was to step on me? So I don't know. Like it's stuff like that. It's like, well, I could see it happening, but I also feel like I don't know. I feel like that's trying to be wish fulfillment on a lot of people's parts. Like, well, it's on the TV show, so it should be in the movies. Like, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. They can just say like, yeah, that's part of the multiverse. We did What If to explain the multiverse to you. So now we can do these two movies that will have high connections to it. There you go. Stop your whining. Here's some milk.
Yeah. The other thing about Far From Home is that like, as far as rumors go, at this point, I'm willing to keep anything on the table because when this first started and they were like, Toby and Andrew Garfield are going to be involved, I was like, no, the fuck they're not. You got your fucking mind. That's not fucking
And then pictures.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't believe how staunchly they've denied everything and then came out with this and like just let Alpha Male go in interviews. He's like, oh yeah, I'm totally coming back. And then Jamie Foxx is like, yeah, I'm totally coming back. I'm like, just fucking say it. Just fucking say Toby and Andrew are coming back at this point. It's the worst kept secret ever.
Well, there's a video of JB Smoove saying like somebody was asking him questions and they're like, oh yeah, so who is your favorite prior Spider-Man to see Tom work with, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield? And he's like, oh, Tobey Maguire all the way. It's like, really? Did you just do that and not think about it? Yeah,
that's my thing. There's no like Sony and Marvel are like, mum's the word, but like there's no lid on pictures, interviews, nothing. Like
there's
the damage control is so selective that like to a point I'm like, just fucking say it.
Yeah. There's a great Instagram post of a fan like seeing Tobey Maguire in the street and he straight up asks him if he's in the movie and he just winks and nods and just leaves.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Wow.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Which all of the leaks from this movie show the difference between a 100% Marvel / Disney production and one that's a group Sony Marvel Disney production.
Yeah, like Disney Marvel was straight up deceptive the Infinity War marketing. Like they were lying
Mhm.
fucking teeth with that
Yeah,
trailer.
it's great.
And then
Yeah.
like, with
I
this,
love
we're doing clever editing. Like when Ock is like, "Hello, Peter," he's not talking to that shot of Tom Holland. He's not at all. They're two different shots entirely.
Yeah.
And like
I have a theory.
and here he
What's your
Uh,
theory?
Theory.
What? Because he says that Alfred, that Doc Ock picks up right where he left off, where he becomes a good guy. What if he's not blowing up like the bridge? It's Doc Ock, but he's like, "Hello, Peter," and then he like helps save people. Like he like uses his arms to like get people.
Okay, so
isn't
I'm glad you brought that up because someone actually pointed out a detail in that sequence. So
Yeah.
like Spider-Man 2, when the orbs inside of the arms are glowing red,
they go blue, right?
under the control of the arms. They glow white and red, and when they're red, Octavius is not in control, and the arms are, and we know the arms are hostile. So,
when things are white, they're all right. That sounds kind of racist.
the land of the brown makes me frown.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
I love how
Are we
Leo comes
canceling
in here.
Connor again?
I love how
Are we
Leo comes in
canceling
here
Connor again?
to just selectively come in and try to cancel me. It never fucking works. Because he just does what like Cosmic Book News and everything did. Like, well, here's an audio bite completely devoid of context. But yeah, no, I read that like, and I haven't gone back to watch Spider-Man 2 since I read this because who has that time? But yeah, I read that basically when the arms are glowing red, that Octavius is no longer in control and that it's danger. So, but in that scene, yeah, when his arms pop up, they are glowing red. So, I mean, you could be right and it could be totally different, but people have pointed that out as a specific detail, and because these movies are
CGI, you can CGI it white,
I mean, that's also like that shot also could not exist in the movie altogether. Like,
Yeah,
like I said,
you could just be like somewhere else and be like, "Hey, Peter, what's up? I'm not dead, so am I gonna become the spectacular
he's
octopus now?"
He's also been super digitally de-aged. That's definitely not the Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2.
Oh no.
Yeah,
He looks younger. He looks younger than he did in Spider-Man 2.
Which is why I think they're not with Jamie Foxx's like appearance being converted to be different and that de-aging on Molina, like these are variants. They aren't the versions from Spider-Man. Like I don't think they're being plucked from those movies. They're variants.
I totally agree. I think that's more and more clear, especially after Loki, that some of them are definitely variants. Some of them are not going to be the versions we know. I never thought that they were bringing back Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, that's something that. Sorry to interrupt, Arlen. That's something. Seeing Yellow Lightning in that trailer, which maybe that's not him. Maybe that was just playfully fucking with people. But I kind of hope if we get Jamie Foxx's Electro, he's in the original Electro costume.
I want that.
I think
at least a modernized version of it. Like maybe not to the big like lightning bolt face,
No,
but like the green
I
and
want
like
that.
No, I want
Lightning
that.
bolt face.
Yeah.
I don't. If they do the lightning bolt face, I will. I can't even describe.
I mean, I'll applaud it. I just don't think they'll do it because it's like
I don't think
so comic booky.
It'll happen for like 2 seconds as he's powering up. It'll like flash
okay,
the electricity, and then that's it.
Absolutely, I can see them doing that.
Yeah, if it's made of electricity and like it's basically him powering up like a Super Saiyan kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing someone pointed out is that the Canadian lad that I pointed out earlier said that in that trailer you can almost see what looks like Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
Yeah.
That's just a bunch of dirt, bro. Okay. Oh, look at the dirt, a Sandman. Oh shit.
So I think there are people reading into things. People just want things to be there that aren't there,
I think
as human beings tend to do.
they're definitely being intentionally obtuse with it, though. Like,
yes,
it's more or less of them being like, "Oh, Sandman might be in this," or "Ooh, the lizard."
Sandman was in the last one. Remember? It was like, "Oh, look at that sand creature. Oh, it's Sandman." It's like,
oh yeah, I know. They were like, "Oh my god, look, it's Hydro."
A lizard will definitely be in it. I don't know if the lizard will be in it based off of things that happen.
There's something in there
the
that
fucking Goomba
behind here that is very monstrous and big, and like it's not Venom. I know it's not Venom. I would bet my left pinky it's not Venom.
My problem with a lot of this speculation that people are throwing out there is, do they forget how bad Spider-Man 3 was with how many villains were in that? Was it 3?
3.
2? 3. Yeah.
4. Rand.
4.
Rand?
Yeah.
Rand?
So think about how bad that was when they were trying to share screen time with 4 villains. Like, if they overdo it, this will not be good.
Well, and the other big speculation is that there people, and even Joe was like, "Is this how they're doing the 6? Like, are they going to introduce them here in this form?"
I can see it being
Scorpion,
really introduced.
because he's already in that universe, right?
Yeah, at least the guy who eventually becomes Scorpion is. Yeah,
Matt
Yeah.
Gargan is in the universe.
Yeah.
Matt Gargan is, and then fucking Michael
Vulture.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Vulture, yeah. I can
And
see it being
apparently he's been spotted on set too.
right. I can see it being.
I could see them not juggling 6 villains, but I could see 6 villains
Yeah.
like. Okay, so we already know Ock, we know Electro, we know Lizard, we know Green
well,
Goblin.
we don't know Lizard. Lizard is not a guarantee. Just because there's a leg.
No, I'm saying. Well, no, there's a bot.
Oh.
I'm being hypothetical. Let's say they're
Mhm.
there, but they're not the villains. Like maybe
Right.
maybe there's one set. Like I could see this being an ensemble set piece where the 6 villains come together, and then Toby, Tom, and Andrew are then reunited, or united, and that's how we get the 3 versus the 6.
There's a
I don't think
model.
I don't think we'd have
There's a-
6 villains in the movie, but I think we'd have 6 villains
Yeah.
at some point together.
There's a movie that did
You're gonna put
this.
some dirt in it.
A Spider-Man movie. It was called Into the Spider-Verse, where that was exactly the ending.
Yeah, but that.
And I could see them 100% just doing that again in live action.
Sadly, yes, I could see them doing it again, but it wouldn't have the same feel because the animation worked for 100% of that movie.
I think that they will do it regardless.
You also
But I
have to
agree.
keep in mind that these are all characters who were introduced in the earlier movies. Like
Yeah.
people,
And that's what I'm saying when I said we have Lizard. I'm saying he's been around before. We have Goblin. He's been around before. What I'm saying is they might be playing into audience familiarity with these characters and not have to worry about building them up, which is on one hand could be a bad thing because you're like, people don't have to
Right.
explore them at all. The other thing is that oh fuck, I just lost my train of thought entirely. Shit, I had it and it was just gone.
Well, I mean, we don't want to go too long on this because this is actually a very long episode already. But they do have a potential to make something interesting with this. I'm very curious to see how the balancing act goes. It's weird, It's the thing of describing an elephant when you only can feel the trunk.
The fuck?
And let's say,
I understand the metaphor you were going for. Yeah,
Lizard is in the movie, and the scene I've been shown is that basically like a Doctor Strange-esque sling ring portal is formed behind Peter, and then a big thing pops out behind him. Let's say for a second, like it is Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man. Let's just be hypothetical. It's Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man, and they make sure to lead into that. What's like I think you can get away with having him show up, be like, and maybe all these villains just know Peter Parker because of some multiversal whatever. They know it in their blood. Like that's Peter Parker, that's Spider-Man. I would say get away with having him appear, attack Peter being completely overwhelmed, and then having Lizard just get sucked into a different portal and he's gone. Like it's some kind of multiversal hiccup. Like he's there and he's gone. That I can see you getting away with, because at some point you're like, oh fuck, that's Lizard, and then he's gone. Like it's a shock moment. It's not like he's not there to hang out and just be wasted.
No, I mean I'm fine with that. I don't want them to do that. Like I
think it'll be Ock and Goblin, and like maybe like a brief fight with other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I worry that Sony is trying to overload it because they're like, well, we have the ability to use all these characters, so let's use them.
Well, also, what I say about Venom all the time is that Sony has been married to the same fucking Spider-Man plan for 15 fucking years.
Yep.
This is them getting their Amazing Spider-Man 3. This is them getting their Spider-Man 4, and this is them getting their Drew Goddard or Sinister Six movie that didn't fucking happen. Sony has been so
plan all along.
Notoriously devoted to their Spider-Man plans for years. And this might be their way of exactly. Yeah.
You're missing half the pieces.
40 chests when you're missing all your fingers. Sony has been so slavishly and transparently devoted to the same ideas for so long that like that might be what this is, which is worrisome, but at the same time, like maybe it is them like maybe working with Marvel and trying to make it a little more cleaner is the compromise they made to finally get this fucking thing they've been trying to get done for years finally happening.
I mean,
The end credits is going to be the teaser for Black and Silver movie, whatever.
I'm
And on that
anticipating
note, let's end the show.
But Leo, instead it'll be a guy with a hat
Yeah.
walking through a room and just be a silver backpack and a black backpack.
I
and
hate-
that's how they'll tease it.
I hate all of you.
Or it's
Okay,
just going to be
I
the
made
actress who's
backpack.
going to play Mary Jane in Amazing Spider-Man films, and she's just
Shailene Woodley.
she's just in a blank void, going, "Hello, anybody? Hello," and that's the post
Yeah, and then
credits.
she's
No Way Home.
I don't wash my hair with shampoo. I never have.
Why are you obsessed with that? Every time you bring her up, it's always about her shampoo.
I didn't realize that I bring that up every time.
Yes, every time she gets mentioned, you bring up shampoo of some sort.
Do I really do that?
You have
this
a
is-
complex, bro.
This
It's
is coming from
a
Hunter.
thing.
Yeah.
Other weird
thing that
complex.
she says
I do.
during interviews that she said when she was a thing. I don't know.
How many interviews are you watching, bro?
No, I didn't know. I had no idea where it was coming from. It just every time she's ever come up, you bring up something about her washing her hair or something about shampoo.
Speaking of watching,
Really?
do you watch,
Like, I'm having
watch your show?
like, was I possessed by another me?
No, you definitely bring it up a lot.
We have to get the fuck out of this episode. As much as
Yeah.
I love this episode.
No, we
to
should
death.
keep going. We should just keep on going.
No,
another
dear
hour.
God, no. My eyes are
Yeah,
getting heavy, okay?
Hunter, go take a nap for like 20 minutes.
All right.
No,
Dude, it's
no,
12:40.
let's get to the plugs. Yeah, sure, why not?
So I talked about the Fantastic Four and Justice League of America episode we just recorded. I'm pretty sure that's the next one coming out. I'm pretty tired. Don't think there's anything else ahead of that. We are doing Troll at some point. First Troll. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm not sure if that was a surprise or not.
No, it's not.
I don't
It's
remember.
not.
Sean talked about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. We were supposed to. Okay, yeah, that's right. We were debating doing live. We did do a commentary track for a movie called Arena, which is another Empire Pictures thing, which is kind of fucking rad because it's basically like it's pro wrestling and Mortal Kombat and like American Gladiators on a fucking space station where like aliens fight aliens, humans fight aliens. It's really Hunter. It's so far up your alley. It's not even funny, dude. It's
yeah.
cool. Yeah. We did a commentary track for it, and it's so good, and we all enjoyed it so much. We might turn into like a full-fledged episode next year, but that's coming out soon. And we just recorded the one where we did Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, but I also bundled in the Justice League of America pilot, so that's coming out soon. And then November is a little far away, but we're doing Ghostbusters month, and I've already seen the art that Joe is making for it, and I showed you guys today. I can't fucking wait for this. So we got that coming out. So yeah, lots of good shit coming out.
Yeah. I can't wait for another podcast. It's much bigger to steal that.
Yeah.
Yep. And then show us pictures of him holding a bulldog and his shitty tattoos on his neck.
I had to stop another friend from popping off on that very topic because I was like, no, you're gonna get us in so much trouble.
I gotta drive to Jersey and pants him.
Fuck that guy.
Drag this link for as long as I can. What's my plugs? Oh, assuming nothing bad happens. Soonish.
It is current year.
I'm recording in LHP. I know in this year, bad things happening. Our next LHP should be an episode covering the movies of Satoshi Kon.
Hell yeah.
At least his first two, and we'll probably do a part 2 at some point. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Perfect Blue and Millennium Actress. So
that's awesome.
Perfect
Those
Blue's
are
awesome.
I really like.
Blue, I really want to see because I saw someone
Perfect
talking
Blue's
about it.
Awesome.
It's
It's a
great.
great movie.
That's the one about the pop star, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, and
I really want to check
I-
that out.
thing, but yes, similar. Yeah, that movie's like a De Palma movie, but animated.
Yeah, that's what really intrigued me. Is I watched someone like do an essay on it. I was like, this sounds fucking fascinating because I don't think I've ever heard an anime like that before.
Yeah, it's insane.
Awesome.
That one's
You should.
insane, and Millennium Actress is also equally
Yeah.
insane. So yes, watch both of those. Even if you're not going to listen to the show, just watch both of those. They're fucking great. So yeah.
Honestly, without getting too off the rails, like the first few episodes, and I'm gonna get my Netflix subscription back when I get my first paycheck. But like watching the first 4 or 5 episodes of Neon Genesis, like was it was the thing that made me go like, fuck, I miss anime like a lot.
Dude, so
I haven't watched
good.
any of it in a long time, so like I might check out a lot of the white whales I've been missing out on a long time. So yeah, I'll keep everybody updated on that.
I just, like I told you, just let us know when you get to the line. I'm so fucked up.
So good.
The Netflix version doesn't have that line.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think he says like, "What's wrong with me?" or something like that.
Okay, well, it's the same idea.
So here's the thing, Leo. I'm watching it with the subtitles on because sometimes I'm just doing multiple things. The subtitles are the original translations, from what I understand, and the audio is the new. It's not.
Nope, they retitled because there's a lot of.
But hold on, what I'm telling you is that the subtitles and the dialogue don't fucking match at all.
No.
Well, it's still not. It's not the same as the old 1990 whatever. Whenever it first came out,
I had wished it was the old localization because like sometimes it's intriguing and sometimes it's alarming. I'm like, what you said is not what's down there.
Yeah, that happens. But yeah, they also redid the subtitles. It's different.
It's fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
Although I do think that maybe I'm wrong. I do
Although
remember
the original dub isn't as high up as it's meant to be. It's cool. It's fine, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I would. Here's the thing, and I don't want to get lost in the weeds here, but like, I would never, ever, 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 ever go back and watch the dubs of Dragon Ball before the fucking Funimation dubs. Never.
No.
No, even Funimation dubs before they did that.
Okay, all right.
Hunter's got some plugs.
We are treading Al territory now. Let's.
Hey, nobody here is bringing up entirely new subjects, so you calm down, sir.
Anyways, Kame Club every Sunday. We just covered Gamescom. We talked about how impressed you were with DokeV and all these new games are coming out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a really stacked couple of months for us because there's so much happening. Yeah, give that a listen. Follow Kame Club on social media, Kame Club Podcast on Twitter.
Listen to Learn and Frank. Stop playing Final Fantasy, or is it World of Warcraft?
I'm desperately trying to get Frank to stop playing World of Warcraft. I promise.
It's also follow the further adventures of Kame Club at young_Kame. I'm Eric Fedorchak. You can find me at Eric_Fedor on Instagram. There's pictures of dogs and food and cats and comics. I'm also on the Phantom Zone, floating around in there. Two things real quick. One, I got a really awesome fucking Black Panther hat, and I put pictures up on Instagram, and it's rad, and you're not going to be able to get it. And the other thing is, I don't understand why people are eating animal dewormer when they think it's going to defeat a virus.
Well, that's a question you'll never get an answer to. I do
give me the horse pace.
I'm gonna be re-uploading stuff to that the Skeleton Icarus page, the Instagram page I had earlier. I fell off this year after my friend died, and I've just been kind of struggling to get back onto it. But I do want to use it for stuff that's like non-related to Phantom Zone and Movie Dumpster. So if you care at all about any of my other creative outputs, I'll put some stuff there for you. So there you go.
Yeah.
Leo, do you have anything you want to plug?
I have one small question for all four of you white men.
So,
corn tortillas or flour tortillas?
It depends.
I don't know.
I like corn tortillas. Not gonna lie, I do like them a lot.
Right answer. You're invited to the carne asada.
I mean, I grew up on flour, but I'll take either one if I have the option. I'll take a corn, or I'll take
ground beef tacos.
I'll take a whole wheat tortilla if I have the option, and corn isn't a.
Who the Arlen, wrong answer. You're not invited to the carne asada.
I'm saying if I don't kidnapped, what the fuck just happened?
I'm saying if I don't have the option of corn, whole wheat, I'm not taking that. I'm not doing the white flour. Are you kidding me?
White flour is fine.
Okay. No,
white flour
is burritos and large quesadillas. That's it.
I like corn.
I don't. There you go. Good boy.
Yeah. No, I completely. Okay. some people are like, well, we need to do Chipotle too, and it's just Chipotle, but we do our own thing, and we do flour tortillas, whole wheat, but no corn, because that's smart. But that's a thing that we have in this part of the country, where everybody's dumb. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah.
And California isn't that far from you, but anyways, all right, we should
me.
get
I'll
off.
treat you good.
Might as well be a million miles away.
Bye,
Eric.
bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Buenas noches.